broken. Another milestone could be reached tonight as the Winston Cup Series comes to the Bristol High Banks.
I've been around a good long while, and this kid is dominating right now.
He's just awesome.
What the 24 car is doing is extraordinary.
Jeff Gordon is an awesome race driver.
Maybe he's just better. I don't know. The 24 Bud stepped on it. They still got it, I tell you.
I'm looking in the mirror, and here he comes. Got to give them credit. They get the job done.
I mean, those guys, they do it. I mean, I don't know. I know how, but they just do it.
I don't know. Jeff Gordon may win them all.
It's never been done before in the modern era of NASCAR. And in the long history of the sport, only Richard Petty and Bobby Allison have accomplished it. Tonight, Jeff Gordon goes for 5 consecutive NASCAR Winston Cup wins.
In Winston Cup, you got to earn these victories. They're not going to come easy. I'd like to be a 2-time Brickyard winner. I guess when it's meant to be, it's just meant to be. Anything can happen in this sport at any time. These are days you just shrug your shoulders and shake your head. Why things happen the way they do, I don't know. A little bit of luck doesn't hurt either. If you can just survive, if you can be there, you can be in contention. Every time I pull into victory lane, I'm more and more amazed that we've actually done it. One day when I look back on everything that we've done, and it could end, next week, and I would be very, very happy and very satisfied and content with everything that's happened in my life, especially in my career.
One team has set the standard. They're called the Rainbow Warriors.
The best there is, and this team has just given me unbelievable equipment each and every weekend.
You can go your whole life and not get a chance to be part of something like this. So for somebody like me, I've wanted to race my whole life. This is all I've wanted to do, and I've wanted to be good at it. To get the opportunity to be part of this, it's just amazing. So those guys are my heroes.
And one driver has reached the mark.
And that kid right there amazes me. He can do some things that other people just can't do, and that's the bottom line.
I can't believe, what we've done in the last 4 weeks. It's unbelievable to me.
And one track could prove to be the most difficult stage on which to perform.
The action on the track is just close, bumper to bumper, banging wheels. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. I mean, the toughest ticket in NASCAR Winston Cup racing is to get to this Bristol night race.
And the night has arrived. More than 140,000 race fans have gathered around this half-mile racetrack in Northeast Tennessee. Any race here creates a roar, but it's heightened by this man, Jeff Gordon, who can rewrite the NASCAR history books. Can he win his 9th of the year and 5th straight? One team and one team only can achieve this lofty goal here in Bristol tonight. From Bristol Motor Speedway in Northeast Tennessee, ESPN Speed World welcomes you to live coverage of NASCAR Winston Cup competition tonight, the Goody's Headache Powder 500. Well, Jeff Gordon is not only going for his 5th straight win, he's trying to add to his points lead. However, the top 3 in points are closer this year than they were last year. This place always brings a lot of enthusiasm to this night race, and these fans that are gathered here tonight have given us about all that we can stand. Jeff Gordon is set to go for 5 in a row, but 42 other drivers are also hoping to keep him from winning that 5th race.
And now, for those 4 most famous words in racing, our Grand Marshal, Merle Edwards. Gentlemen, start your engines.
While the media and this massive crowd and you millions at home may be focused on this one chance for one man and one team to establish a modern era record, this team is more focused on the big picture. Yeah, I know they've won the 4 of the last 7 events here, but they have never won a NASCAR Winston Cup short track race in 9. And to make matters even more worrisome, their last 2 outings tonight, here last August, and in Richmond in June, they finished 35th and 37th. So it's not the drive to win 5 that's on their mind, but rather the drive just to survive that has the Rainbow Warriors worried.
The
only records Rusty Wallace wants to talk about are the ones that were recorded by Elvis. And most of those were hits. There'll be a lot of hits recorded here tonight. In 93 and 94, Rusty was singing the same song that Gordon's singing now. 10 wins one year, 8 the next. But in the last 50 races, no wins. Close a couple of times, but really for Rusty, it's been Heartbreak Hotel. Tonight, at least for now, he's #1 on the charts, on the pole at a track where he's won 6 times. At Bristol, it's Wallace that wants to be the king of rock and roll tonight.
Following last week's roller coaster ride of emotions at Michigan for Mark Martin, he said he was going home to prepare for a dominating performance here tonight at the Bristol Motor Speedway. And during happy hour, it looked as if he were prepared to do just that. That is, until Bobby Labonte passed him and took off. Apparently, Labonte and company have hit upon a combination. Although Jimmy Makar says it's nothing special, just a variation on last year's setup. You know, springs, shocks, sway bar. But will it work under the lights? It is a very special night. We're up here in a glass-enclosed booth, but still the excitement and the electricity is everywhere. But I'm not sure that this is the place that Jeff wants to go for that record, Ned.
Bob, it is perhaps harder to control your own destiny on this racetrack than any racetrack that they run on. They zip around here in just over 16 seconds. A lot of things can happen. You don't have to make a mistake yourself, Benny. You can get caught up in somebody else's mistake.
Yeah, this is 16 seconds on a half-mile racetrack, over 122 mile per hour average around here. And if something happens, you're in the wreck before you can even think about stepping on the brakes. A tough, tough racetrack to win on, much less try to go for 5 in a row.
Well, the 43 cars are down there with their engines started, ready to go, 500 laps. Let's check the Walmart EverStart starting lineup. Rusty Wallace on the pole with his 5th pole here in Bristol, but first in the night race. Mike Skinner has 2 top 5 starts here in Bristol in 98. In the second row, Ricky Rudd with 11 Bristol top 5s, and Mark Martin, who finished 2nd in last year's race. The third row, Jeremy Mayfield, his first Bristol top 5 start, and Ted Musgrave, his best qualifying effort of 1998. Starting 7th will be Jeff Gordon in his strive for 5 alongside his Ward Burton with 1 top 10 finish here at Bristol. Starting 9th will be Dale Jarrett, the defending champion of the Goody's Headache Powder 500, and Bobby Labonte, 2 wins this season. Now, as you look down the rest of the starting lineup, pay particular attention to the first 25 because they have a decided advantage over everybody else here tonight.
It's 21, Bob. Only 21 pits on both sides of the racetrack. 21 on the front, 21 on the back. As a matter of fact, 2 cars left to share a pit on the back stretch. And pitting on the front stretch, Ned, is a huge advantage.
It is. Even though they've adjusted the speed on the pace car, trying to even that up, it still is an advantage to pit on the front stretch.
As we look back at these cars, Bill Elliott will start back on the outside of row 14. Has a very good race car.
He was very good in practice this afternoon. He was good in practice yesterday, but slipped a little bit in qualifying, so he's on the backstretch.
I'm sorry, back in row 19 on the inside is Ernie Irvin. He was our pole sitter last week in Michigan and led the most laps. This week, he had to get in the field. He had to take the provisional.
And he was only a couple tenths of a second slower than the pole sitter here tonight. So that's how close they qualify here at Bristol.
There you see the other provisional starters for tonight's race. Taking the previous champion's provisional was Darrell Walters. He starts back in 35th position. Let's check our onboard cameras for tonight's race.
Wally Don back to 50 car. He'll be starting in 38th spot. We'll be riding along with him. Kenny Wallace, also the Square D car, has an onboard starting in 31st spot. How about Sterling Marlin, the Coors Light onboard camera, starts in 29th position. Bill Elliott, McDonald's. He has his nighttime McKnight car here tonight. He'll be starting 27th. And Bobby Labonte, a lot of fellas think this is a guy that can win tonight, will be starting outside row 5. Mark Martin trying desperate to win this championship outside the second row in 4th spot. And Mike Skinner, also the outside pole sitter, will be riding along with him on his Lowe's onboard camera. And Rusty Wallace, our pole sitter, also with the Miller Lite onboard camera. And Jeff Bodine, the Circuit City onboard camera.
We'll go 500 laps here tonight. Charlie Glotzback with the record. Look when it was set back in 1971. The pit window somewhere between 135 and 145. That is, assuming that there are no cautions, which there undoubtedly will be. And they're going for $1.7 million. These are the drivers who, in the modern era, that is since 1972, have won 4 races in a row. However, nobody has won 5 in a row. There you see where the drivers finished in their attempt to win 5 in a row, and 3 of those streaks came to end on a short track. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens here tonight. We're just about set to go racing here at Bristol.
And the green flag will be waved by Perry Doughty of New Bern, North Carolina. More than 50,000 entries. He was the winner. Attaboy, Perry.
Very quickly, that inside line gets going, hanging Mike Skinner out. He changed several positions in lap 1, falls into 5th.
Well, in the early going, it will be single file because the inside line is the place to be.
And Jerry Nadeau, already the Cartoon Network car, is very slow. Maybe he just got high and just got everything checked back. Looks like now he's back up to speed.
Just got a little too high over in corner number 2. Here is Rusty Wallace, who has now led 23 of the last 25 short track races. Ricky Rudd is right there on his back bumper.
Ricky Rudd wants to lead this race. His car is good. He is really working on Rusty. Looked on the inside, nothing there. Rusty hugging that inside. Not much room to pass down there.
Back to the third place car of Mark Martin, closely pursued by Ted Musgrave. Then comes Skinner, Jeremy Mayfield, Ward Burton, and Jeff Gordon.
Ricky Rudd is just waiting, hoping that Rusty Wallace makes a little bit of a slip. If he does, that tide rod will be in the first position.
And a good battle back there for third spot. Ted Musgrave is going to take it. Ted is driving the 23 car tonight for Jimmy Spencer.
Mark Martin didn't fight him. He let him go. He said, okay, if you're that good, go on up there and race those guys who are battling for first and second.
Good battle back here in the middle of the pack.
And we see Kenny Wallace. Car's getting under him. There goes Chad Little by the John Deere. Kenny Irwin goes by the Texaco car, and that's Elliott Sadler in the 92 car. And his second Winston Cup start ever.
That's 30th through 35th.
That lap Musgrave had the fastest at over 117, almost 118 miles an hour among the top 5.
He is gaining on the first and second place cars.
Sadler and Kenny Wallace running side by side, wheel to wheel. Here comes Steve Park up there now, and also Ernie Irvin.
One thing that they're trying to do, you can get laps so easily on this racetrack, Bob, so you want to get as much track position, get by as many cars as you can, because when the leaders come up on them to lap them, the more cars you can have between yourself and the leaders, the better you're going to be. And here's a lead change already.
And Ricky Rudd has taken the lead, becoming our second leader of the evening. This is only the third event of 1998 that he has led. He last led at Sears Point. The other race he led was just 1 lap at Dover.
See, Mark Martin is going back by Ted Musgrave.
And Musgrave didn't fight him. He saw Mark coming up, but your car is a little bit faster now, so he'll let you go.
Here's Mike Skinner and Jeremy Mayfield going at it. This is for the 5th position. Jeremy trying to get to the inside, coming down the backstretch into turn 3. He's got the nose under Skinner and will take advantage.
Jeff Gordon is right behind this duo.
And he's trying to take a look on the inside of Skinner, but Skinner comes down, blocks the move. I told you, Jerry, maybe the throttle was hanging on that car is the reason for him slowing.
What a racetrack to have the throttle hang up on you, huh?
Toughen up on this place without having to concentrate on that.
And here goes Rusty Wallace now. Back into the lead. Ricky led 4 laps, and now Rusty takes over once again.
One thing that happens on this racetrack, when a car gets up behind you, run through as close as they were running there, it loosens your car up a little bit. And sometimes you want to just let him go. And then you get behind and do the same thing to him. And so he has no choice but to let you go. And there, Ricky's working on Rusty once again.
It is a good, tight battle up front. Rusty Wallace and Ricky Rudd. First and second as 16 laps have been completed in the Goody's Headache Powder 500 from Bristol Motor Speedway. Second, Jeremy Mayfield is now third as the positions change here early on in the Goody's Headache Powder 500. Our ESPN Speed World coverage here at Bristol is being brought to you by Ford, makers of vehicles that are built to last. By Daytona USA, the ultimate motorsports attraction. And by Mobil 1 Synthetic Motor Oil. Nothing outperforms Mobil 1. 26 laps completed. They click off quickly here, and look at the top three. They are completely different than when we went to break.
Ricky Rudd has about a 10-15 car length advantage on Mark Martin. Take a look how it happens from Mark Martin's onboard camera, the Valvoline on board. And watch this. Oh, little contact. Rusty goes up the hill. Now Mark's going to try it again, and almost some contact once again. But finally Mark was able to get by, and also Jeremy got by Rusty.
So Mayfield is now third, Musgrave is fourth.
Now, this is when the thing is really going to start getting excited because they're catching the back of the field already. And now it's these guys. We see Steve Park, Darrell Waltrip, Jerry Nadeau trying to stay in the lead lap. And the Mark Martin, Jeremy Mayfield trying to take positions away, trying to use slow cars to do it.
Will go high or low here and try to get around Steve Park and Darrell Waltrip and the others.
Rest assured he wants to go low, Bob, if there's any possibility of that.
All of this from the Pennzoil copter cam circling overhead in the beautiful northeast Tennessee skies. And here now is a battle between Kyle Petty, Jeff Green, and Jeff Burton, who's moving up.
That's 15th, 16th, and 17th.
Heavy traffic is Ricky Rudd, and the top three still can't get by Steve Park and Jerry Nadeau.
Once again, these guys are just said, look, we don't have to push me so hard early on. Mark Martin taking a look, trying to figure out what he can do.
He's getting 5 bonus points.
Never seen Jerry Nadeau. Steve Park gets on the inside of him, which opens the door for Rudd, and almost had a crash there. We see some cars slowing down, finally getting their car going again. Is John Andretti, the 43, Chad Little, Derek Copeland, the 30, Kenny Irwin, 28, Kenny Wallace.
That's back about 29th, 30th, 31st, and on back. Let's take a look at that incident once again.
Never see Chad Little trying to go get on the inside of John Andretti, and little contact, and wow. Not only, Chad Little was being pushed by Derek Cope as well as pushing the 43 car.
So a lot of paint has been traded so far. However, we haven't had a caution yet. Let's hope we can keep this pace up. Something must be wrong with Andretti since he did have that little
Well, I think he got caught on the outside there, Bob, and just simply couldn't get back down. And he's falling back towards where the leaders are.
And here is Ricky Rudd moving to the inside of Dick Trickle. Already Hut Strickland, Steve Park, and Jerry Nadeau have been lapped.
And now Dick Trickle.
Here's Robert Presley.
Kevin LePage in the 16 car and Bobby Hamilton in the 4 car.
And that would be back in 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. LePage, who won the Busch race last night here at Bristol, taking a look to the inside of Robert Presley, trying to get position on him. That there is a mental fatigue of having to run in traffic, but what is it like out there going this speed for that long?
I mean, mentally, it's probably the toughest thing right now because these cars are desperately trying to stay in the lead lap. and realizing the leaders are coming. Oh, we got Morgan Shepherd in the wall.
And
spinning and
right in front of the leaders, or at least the second, third, and fourth place cars. Ricky Rudd was in front of it, but boy, a lot of other cars from second on back were right there.
The caution is out. Morgan Shepherd spun around, kept going, but still the caution flies on the 42nd lap here at Bristol. First caution of the evening. It happened over in turn number 1.
Darrell Waltrip gets on the inside of Morgan Shepherd as they came to the start-finish line. Morgan cuts down. Don't know that Darrell has a fender up there, I don't believe. Darrell thinks he knows it. They touch, and up into the wall Morgan goes.
And watch him come down right in front of Mark Martin, Jeremy Mayfield. Man.
And Jeff Gordon wasn't back there too far. What about pit stops this early? 41 laps in, guys.
I would be surprised if we would see the leaders come in this early.
Well, the pit is open, and nobody has taken advantage of it, so you're right. It looks like everybody's going to stay out there for this first caution, which was brought about by Morgan Shepherd spinning over in turn number 2. The leader is Ricky Rudd here at Bristol. Running in second position is Mark Martin, then Jeremy Mayfield, Rusty Wallace, and Jeff Motor Speedway. Those pitted here on the front stretch that are running up front did not pit. However, we had several that made pit stops on the backstretch. There was nothing for them to lose, so they came in for a change of tires. Now, we're under caution because of this incident on the 41st lap.
And we see Morgan Shepherd going up brushing the wall, and watch as he comes down, and Mark drives to the bottom of the racetrack on the apron. See Jeff Bodine also sees Morgan Shepherd down on the inside, and look at the contact between those guys.
During the pit stops, Chad Little came in on the backstretch, lost a wheel. Jerry Nadeau was also in, and his hood flew up. So all kinds of things happening here under the caution.
Jerry Nadeau actually lost a couple of laps while he was in there trying to fix that problem. See Bill Elliott as he gets set for the restart. He's back in 29th spot. Wally Dolan back. Bobby Labonte.
Bobby is 8th.
Jeff O'Ryan's on board. He's in 10th spot. Second place car, Mark Martin. Mark's trying to figure out now, how can I get in front of this 10 car? I need 5 bonus points now. Ricky Rudd's a pretty nice guy. He understands how badly I need these 5 points.
Let's see what strategy, if any, he employs here to try to get the lead. Pretty slow restart here. Ricky Rudd brings him back. Accelerates.
And Mark's car, it spun the wheels or something. He didn't get a good takeoff.
2 lap cars move between first and second. Namely Dick Trickle and Steve Park. That he has led since the 1997 Brickyard that he won, and Dick Trickle gets a lap back.
Yeah, he just drives down there and goes on by. Now, Dick, I believe, is one of those drivers that made a pit stop, put on 4 new tires, and so did the car number 1 of Steve Park, so he gets back on the lead lap.
It looks like the new tires is a decided advantage here this evening, with tires that have about 40 laps. The crew's down there told me today about 5 laps these tires really get. And Jeremy Mayfield goes to the second spot. Rusty Wallace tries to close it on Mark Martin. Can't quite do it. There you see Jeff Gordon.
Wallace, our only other leader tonight. Oh, look at this mess. Irwin and Irvin going at it there, along with the 13 of Dennis Setzer. Kenny Wallace there, yeah. Chad Little.
Little did not lose a lap despite losing that tire. So fast work by the crew.
Boy, those new tires do make a difference. Look at the difference in speed between Rudd, who did not change tires, and Steve Park, right back in 40th, who did.
So we can see he's 0.2 of a second faster than Ricky Rudd. Jeremy Mayfield right now. The Mobile 1 car's closing in. Dolan backs up high. by Ernie Irvin. On the inside, there comes John Andretti. We'll get on the outside. It's a tough road to hoe up there.
Ready and Dallenbach, wheel to wheel on First Plus Financial Field Sunday, giving us an indication of the manufacturer's battle.
Starting Marlin now on the outside. Dallenbach is now to the bottom of the racetrack, and Kenny Wallace now gets up high, and Bobby Hamilton dives to the inside.
Marlin also caught on the outside. Several cars pass him by, and Andretti goes by him. Now here comes Dallenbach. John Kernan has a report on the 81 of Kenny Wallace.
Bob, early in the race, Kenny Wallace complained of the car being very, very loose. They made an adjustment, put on 4 tires with caution. But then, while they were running around at the slower speed, he said, all my temperature gauges are pegged. But he hasn't said anything more since they've gone back to green. Apparently, he has to have a little speed going to get the air into the radiator to keep things cooled down.
And we have a new leader, the third of the evening. Jeremy Mayfield takes the top spot from Rudd. The 31 of Mike Skinner, who started second, just got out of shape and is losing a position. There's Joe Nemechek going by, and here comes Johnny Vincent.
That's a battle back for the 16th, 17th position is Brett Bodine. Brett Bodine stopped and changed some tires. And is already backed up to the 20th spot.
Ran line up. We got to do what we can here.
And here's what happened to Mike Skinner moments ago.
He goes in the corner behind Kyle Petty, and we see he gets a little bit high on the racetrack, and Jeff Green starts under him, makes contact, and Skinner did a good job chasing that car up the hill.
And Benny, the reason he's chasing the car is exactly what you said a little bit earlier. They hit lap 30, and suddenly they began to scream. The cars are getting very, very loose. Mike Skinner would love to have pitted and made a track bar just for the air pressure, but couldn't afford to give up track position, although he's losing it right now. Likewise, Rusty Wallace in the car number 2 and Mark Martin are both complaining that their cars are very loose coming off the corner. They would have loved to have made an air pressure change too, but once again, couldn't give up valuable track position.
On board with Rusty Wallace, who's about 3/4 of a second behind in third position. Now this is Wally Dallenbach's on board, looking.
Some of these guys that are getting us got 4 tires, Wally.
They're telling us some of those guys that are in front of them stopped and changed 4 tires. That's one reason they're so much faster than Wally. Trying to keep the driver informed of everything that's going on.
Kyle in 44 car, Jeff Green in the green 46 car. Passes Kyle.
Right at 33.
14th position, Green took over.
Last time Ken Schrager led a race was here at Bristol in the spring. Meanwhile, back up front, it's still Jeremy Mayfield that's hanging on. And you can see the interval back to first position. There he is.
And they're beginning to come into traffic again, lapping cars.
Rudd and Wallace running second and third. There is Jeff Gordon running back in 6th spot. In 5th is Dale Jarrett.
Jarrett just passed him about 3 laps ago.
And how is he doing in comparison to the leader of the race?
Well, to see Jeremy Mayfield and Jeff Gordon, we can see that Gordon has lost a second to the leader. And we can see how consistent Mayfield was at 17-0 to 17-1. And look at Jeff Gordon at 1 lap, 17-7, just killed him. Bill Weber?
Jeff Gordon's car is very loose. During the last caution period, he talked it over with Ray Evernham. They were going to make an air pressure adjustment on the left front and the right rear to try and compensate for that loose handling condition. Obviously, they're looking for a caution as well.
Gordon in 6th spot, and here is the leader, Jeremy Mayfield. Jeremy had a down period after he won at Pocono, but he's beginning to come back now. Had a good run at Michigan last week, and he is now leading for the first time since he won at Pocono, which was 7 races ago. Mayfield by just about a half second over Ricky Rudd and about 2/3 of a second over Rusty Wallace in third position. World coverage tonight at Bristol Motor Speedway. There's the huge facility. Holds about 130,000 seats and about 10,000 more in the suites. We're showing it to you from the Pennzoil Copter Cam. The race continuing at speed. 81 laps have now been completed. The NASCAR website at www.nascar.com has the latest news and results. Even those of us here in the broadcast booth use the NASCAR online. That's where I found out earlier this week that Michael Waldrop and the Wood Brothers Parting Company, and also where I found out that Joe Nemechek had signed on with Felix Sabatis until the year 2000 or through the year 2001. So a lot of news on www.nascar.com.
There you see the battle for 4th position. Dale Jarrett, the Ford Quality Care car, has it. That's the blue 88. Mark Martin lost it just a couple of laps ago. And Sterling Marlin really cannot keep that car on the bottom of the racetrack. And check it out. There's the outside pole center, Mike Skinner, and right behind it is the leader of the race to put Skinner a lap down. Then he should have pitted that last time he got some 4 tires.
They should have. That car apparently very loose and some adjustments on it. Now he's going to go a lap down.
Leader inside.
Mike has dropped from 2nd to 36th in 85 laps.
Winston coming back. Second place coming with him inside.
Goes a lap down. Oh, look at the fastest car that lap.
Ernie Irvin all the way back in 20th position. But again, Ernie Irvin evidently has clean racetrack, and that's something these leaders right now desperately need is clean racetrack.
Well, of course, the leader now is out in the open a little bit, but he's been going through some heavy traffic.
In that last lap, Kenny Irwin was the fastest, and he runs back in 16th.
Still 35 cars on the lead lap.
Dick Trickle, who was lapped once.
Still there. 6 cars coming.
And he got back in the lead lap after he changed tires. Dick Trickle did.
That's Mike Skinner's radio we're listening to as the spotter tells him all these cars going by on the inside. Now that's for
Car inside. Clear low, clear hold 96. Clear low behind the 96.
Back in 16th position is Kenny Irwin. One of the drivers going for Rookie of the Year honors in NASCAR Winston Cup competition.
He has a good run going.
Here's Ernie Irvin, who has also been on the move.
A couple of laps ago, he would have ran the fastest lap of anyone.
Ernie said during qualifying the other day, he didn't qualify well, had to take a provisional to get in the field, but he said he had a good race car for the race, and apparently he does have.
Started 37th, as you can see right now on lap 91. He's running in 19th position.
Here's Jack Gordon, who is in 7th position. He, too, has just lapped Mike Skinner.
Inside. Still there.
Leaders are in heavy traffic again. As you see, Jeremy Mayfield has come up on Dick Trickle, who passed Ricky Rudd, got back in the lead lap, but now those tires are getting hot and worn. That advantage has gone away.
Sometimes the only way you get around the guy in front of you is get out there and give him a little bit of a tap and then take advantage.
Well, when you do that, you're involved in the crash that's a result of that.
Yeah, that's the problem. Be so careful. You heard him talk about it. You want to keep all 4 fingers on the car. You don't knock the finger in on a tire. About 5 cars running right there together.
All this patience will last for about 150 laps, and then they'll run out of patience. Some of them will, and some of them won't. See Dale Jarrett back there trying to take a look on the inside of Rusty Wallace. That was just his third position. Oh, Trickle. Yep. You know, Luke when he came off that second corner.
First 5 cars are running right together. Allow Dale Jarrett to come up and join the battle, and Mark Martin. And behind Mark now is Bobby Labonte, who has moved to 6th. Jeff Gordon is 7th.
And Bobby Labonte is less than 2 seconds behind the leader, Jeremy Mayfield. They've got our Tabasco hot zone. And watch the RPMs down the straightaway. 7,900. All this traffic is keeping that. They ought to be turning about 9,000.
Yeah, at least 85 or 800, somewhere in that neighborhood. But you're right, that traffic. And of course, the tires are heated up and worn, and they won't run as fast. The lap speeds aren't nearly as high as they will be when you put new tires on them, so that run the LPs up.
The top speed of about 116 miles an hour under those conditions.
You'll see all the cars strung around the Bristol Motor Speedway. See Dick Trickle up there finally gets on the inside of Kenny Wallace. And 12 car goes down, hits the apron that time, and the exhaust pipe hit and drug. That'd be an anxious moment for Jeremy. There we see the leaders right behind Kenny Wallace as Trickle's trying to get on the inside.
Now Jeremy has two cars in front of him, one high, one low. So he's really boxed in.
They got all the good options taken, don't they?
There's much you can do under those situations. You can see a donut on Trickle's car already.
And Trickle has one of those DuPont chrome illusion paint jobs. When it hits the light, it goes from green to purple, or what it's called purpleine or something.
Wallace are having a pretty good battle here, but Mayfield just cannot do it.
Oh, might have some contact that time between the leader and Dick Trickle.
You got to be impressed with Kenny Wallace up there in that outside Trickle. He's been holding them off. Here comes Trickle again down on the inside.
Kenny, of course, was the pole sitter for this race a year ago. Boy, that is some battle.
Both of them are just fighting for their lives because that's the leader right behind them. If they can stay there, the caution comes out. They save a half mile, an entire half mile. The pace car picks up the 12 car. These other cars get to go all the way around the racetrack.
It's 34th and 35th running side by side.
They've been doing so for several laps now. Trying to get Trickle down off the corner.
Oh, this time he goes up the hill and just carries Kenny up out of the groove.
Knew it had to happen sometime that they'd get together.
Now Rusty will come up to battle with his brother. Mayfield has now led the most laps. He's led 50.
Oh, and some contact between Jeremy and Trickle. And Trickle goes up the racetrack. Jeremy on the inside.
Down, there you go.
Made that pass.
Head car looking under, but it's not there. Coming under.
Now
Get behind the 10.
Get behind the 10, but Rusty Wallace is there.
Two car coming under. 88 coming with him, but it's not there. You're clear.
Well, the first three have cleared that major traffic jam. It's Jeremy Mayfield, Ricky Rudd, Rusty Wallace, the top three. Jeff Gordon, going for 5 wins in a row, is in 7th position. Speedway, where the caution has come out for the second time. Joe Nemechek got into some trouble up at the turn area of the racetrack.
And it's a big break for those cars that are about to go a lap down. The next car that was going a lap down would have been Dale Earnhardt. Jeremy Mayfield was right on his back bumper when the caution came out.
And you see they're having trouble getting the jack around the car. They cannot get the left side up because the left front is flat to get the car in. Now finally they get the car jacked up.
Come back and get right. Come back and get right. Front flat. Go ahead, the pace car now just went by.
And the pace car has picked up the field, and so the pits are open here on the front stretch. And here they come.
All of them come. And boy, Ned, some of them said, thank goodness.
Yes.
And Jeff Gordon probably the main one. Jerry Punch.
Expect to see some track bar adjustments and air pressure adjustments on most of the lead cars. Almost everyone, including our leader, Mayfield, complaining of the cars being loose coming off the corner. Let's check in the Gordon pit with Bill.
4 tires, 2 cans of fuel, no adjustments for Gordon, although his car is a little loose. They do make the air pressure adjustment we talked about earlier. Traffic very tight on pit road. Gordon's away. Backstretch pits, John.
Kenny Irwin worked his way all the way up to the 11th spot. He pits now on the backstretch. Right side work is done. Here comes Rusty Wallace and Ernie Mayfield. Dale Jarrett zipping by as more cars who pitted on the front stretch are going to go by him. They clean out the front, and now it goes in, but the 16 car is going to beat him out. But I believe the 16 car with Kevin LePage took only right side tires. I'll have to check on that, but a 4-tire change. John Andretti gets boxed in by Bill Elliott. He has to back up and a loose tire out on the track.
The second one already tonight. Chad Little lost one, and it rolled on the front straightaway. And here's another one. Looks like it's from Kyle Petty. He pushed it down pit road. It wasn't his. We don't know where it came from, but nevertheless.
Apparently came off as they were changing tires. It rolled out on pit road, and Kyle hit it and knocked it on out on the racetrack.
We can see the damage. Watch, there it is. Kyle is pushing. And all of a sudden, as he gets to the apron of the racetrack, the tire's going to leap. And watch it just stand up and start rolling. That tire's pretty trick, isn't it? And Rusty Wallace is back in the pits.
Wow, second time, Jerry. What's going on?
Apparently, they are having a problem with no brakes. They're going to have to try to stop the car. The crew now gets the car to stop. He was pumping the pedals, and they're going to jack it up and take the right front tire off. We'll see maybe if they have a brake line, maybe something's wrong with the caliper. Ordinarily, you wouldn't see that this early. You would see it possibly at Bristol, more likely at Martinsville, but they are concerned. When he left pit road, Rusty said, brake problem. As he came back down, he was pumping it, trying to get it to stop, and now they've taken the right front tire off. Robin Pemberton, Billy Wilburn, and the crew now over there looking to see if they can determine what the problem is. The NASCAR official standing there says 1 lap will be under green next time by, as Rusty is down off the jacks. Now they're trying to get him going to get the refired. There's a way. Expect the green here next time as the pace car heads for turn 1.
Boy, he had beat everybody out of the pits, was in first place, and now he's going to be in 31st place.
Wow, he lost a lot of track of position. And we'll show you why we are under the second caution of the evening. It came out on lap 119.
And we see Joe Nemechek had made contact with someone. It might have been Elliott, I'm not sure, as they came off turn 4, and we see the left front tire is flat.
From Bobby Labonte's on board. Oh, Nadu into the wall, too, a little bit.
I think he got clipped a little bit by Dale Jarrett as Nadu was slowing down. Jarrett didn't see it, and he hit him just a little bit.
We'll take a break and be back with more live coverage of the Goody's Headache Powder 500 from Bristol in just a moment. Comes out, we are back to racing. Mayfield still up front, followed by Dale Jarrett. Rusty Wallace has lost a lap. He is down in 39th position due to his brake problem. Take a look at the pit summary now of where they were when they went in and where they were when they went out. Look at Rusty Wallace. He was third when he went into the pits, and he restarts in 39th, lap down.
But on the regular pit stop, he actually came out first, but then had to come back in. Jerry Funch has more.
What happened to Rusty Wallace? Here is the right front caliper, one they were using. This right here is the bleeder valve. They thought it had broken this bleeder valve off. In reality, it had just gotten loose and was allowing fluid to leak out whenever he would jump on the brake pedal. They came back in the second time, lost a lap in the pits, and tightened the bleeder valve up. It is now nice and tight. Rusty is 1 lap down.
As 131 laps are completed, all cars are still running. There is Dale Jarrett running in second position with some lap cars around him.
Having a tough time getting around Kenny Wallace. Kenny Wallace has found a high groove that's working for him. There's room down on the inside for DJ to pass, but so far he hasn't been able to make the pass, and Jeremy Mayfield is simply running away.
Jeremy Mayfield has opened a 2.25 lead on Dale Jarrett as Jerry tries his best to get by Kenny Wallace.
Boy, Wallace has been a tenacious battler tonight. He's been up on that high groove and has been able to make it work.
He sure has.
Now Jarrett.
Well, now he does.
Get around him.
Yeah, he did fine.
Bobby Labonte running back in third, then Mark Martin and Ricky Rudd. Dale Jarrett, coming into this fourth short track race of 1998, is the points leader in short track competition this year. 3 top 5 finishes in all 3 short track events. Here comes a First Plus Financial Field summary for you. First, the manufacturer's battle. Chevy with a 6-point edge.
Bobby Labonte now catches Kenny Wallace, tries to get by. Let's see. Interstate batteries on board.
Kenny Irwin has worked his way to the top 10. Man, is he having a good run.
He is. That's a terrific run. He started back where he did.
Shows a lot of patience and also shows that he has a good race car.
Started in 34th position. John Kernan.
Hey, let me tell you about this rookie out there wanting to run 500 laps at Bristol and how he's trying to keep his mind off of how long this race actually is. During the caution last time, right before they went back to green, they said, okay, Kenny, clean off your tires, clean out your motor, 125 laps down. All he said on the radio to his team was, don't tell me how many laps are down.
Yeah, that means there's 375 to go.
He is the leader in the battle for the NASCAR Winston Cup Rookie of the Year honors. Best finish this year came at Texas and at the Brickyard, Atlanta, I should say. He finished 5th. His best starts were at Texas and the Brickyard. Finished 5th in Atlanta.
You see Kenny Schrader, the Skoll Chevrolet, right behind Kenny Irwin. Obviously, Schrader is in 11th position. He comes after 10 most times.
30 cars on the lead lap.
Rusty Wallace back there behind Elliott Sadler. There's Elliott, the 92, the Phillips 66 car. There comes Rusty Wallace, a lap down.
That is for position when the next 2 passes because Steve Park in the 1 car is also a lap down.
Rusty moves to 35th. We mentioned Dale Earnhardt and how that most recent caution benefited him because he was about to go a lap down. He is now up to 18th.
Johnny Benson.
Benson is not carrying the Cheerios colors, as you can see. Instead, it's called the kids car, and they're pushing the kids line of cereals, Lucky Charms, and tricks, and that type of thing.
Schrader's been able to get by.
Boy, Jeremy Mayfield is all alone out there. Does he like that? There's second place, Jeremy. He's about 1 1/3 second behind, and he too is running in clear traffic.
And right now, Jeremy has about a 1 1/4 lead on Dale Jarrett, and he has about a 2nd lead on Mark Martin.
And Mark Martin just passed Bobby Labonte a few laps ago for the 3rd position. Bobby's sitting there running in pretty good shape too as Trickle lets Mark Martin by, or at least Mark gets by, might not let him by, but he passed him.
On board with Mark Martin running in the 3rd position, about 2.3 seconds behind Jeremy Mayfield. We've had 3 leaders so far tonight. Mayfield has led 87 laps, Ricky Rudd 43, and Rusty Wallace early led 17 before he lost the lap. He's now back in 34. There's a look at the top 10 with 146 of 500 laps completed. The world is live tonight at Bristol Motor Speedway in Northeast Tennessee. 140,000 people are here to see this NASCAR Winston Cup race and possibly some records being set as Jeff Gordon goes for his 5th consecutive win here. This overhead shot of the beautiful facility here, courtesy of the Pennzoil Copter Cam. You can see that the cars have slowed down and are lining up behind the pace car. That's because Dick Trickle has shortened his number 90 Heilig Myers Ford.
Boy, it's amazing that he was able to get it back to the garage area.
Watch the upper right-hand corner of this replay, and you may be able to see, there he is.
Kissing the corner, and I don't know that Bobby Labonte was close enough to him to have anything to do with that. We got an onboard camera with Bobby Labonte. Let's just check and see. You ever see Trickle? start-finish line down in turn 1. Down in the corner, and around he goes. And Labonte says, wow.
It's our third caution of the evening. And nobody up front has chosen to come in for a pit stop.
Well, Ted Musgrave came in for the pit stop.
A few others that are running maybe
Ward Burton and Brett Bodine come in now, and Derek Cope.
And so Rich Bickle, the very last car down there.
Down to Bill Weber.
Well, Ward Burton has been on pit road once. He took right side tires in order to not lose a lap. He had to come back in to get his left side tires. Took a little well on the left front, but he's away. Derek Cope did the same thing, and Musgrave was in. He got 4. Jerry?
Well, Dick Trickle's Heilig Myers Ford now gets a huge sledgehammer done to the back, what's left of the rear deck. Tommy Baldwin and the crew now for Dunleavy working on the car. That is a common tool for Bristol. Said you got to have 2 things to run here, a blindfold and a sledgehammer, and a tough evening for you, a tough start. What happened, Dick?
Well, you know, we were tied up off, you know, and I was just trying to buy laps. We got a lap back once and lost it again, but in this race, you know, we could get good enough, and Heilig Myers team could get me back in the lead lap, and we could get a finish out of it. But somebody must have dropped some fluid or something down there in 3, because I went in like normal, and all of a sudden it took off before I even got the corner.
How bad is it? We're watching the repairs right now. Will they be able to get the car back in, get you back out?
Well, I haven't looked at him yet. You know, I'm your first man here, so you're my first man. So I imagine we'll be able to do something here, but, you know, it's no fun running crippled here.
All right, the Heilig Myers crew scrambling, trying to get, they bring the huge sledgehammers out. Everybody grabs one and begins to beat and bang, trying to get some of the sheet metal pushed away. It looks like the fuel cell was intact, and if they get the sheet metal up off the tires, I got to believe that Dick Trickle will be back at it here for the Battle of Bristol.
And Dick Trickle had a 3rd place finish in this race last August, but things have gone wrong for him here as we're on the 158th lap. There's just part of the 140,000 people that are up and shouting and screaming as the race continues here at Bristol Motor Speedway under green when we come back in just a moment. We are back to racing, and Jeremy Mayfield has the lead by about a 1.5 seconds over Dale Jarrett, who has a couple of lap cars between him, namely Rusty Wallace and Mike Skinner. But now Jarrett tries to get to the inside of Skinner.
He also has a Mark Martin run on his back bumper.
Jarrett's car appears to be a little bit tight, and it's tough for him to make those passes down. Looks like he's going to be able to make it now. The car, from my observation, looks like it's a little bit, the front end don't cut coming off the corners. That's what we call tight. But as you run on, sometimes that works to your advantage.
Skinner back in 32nd position.
Now, Rusty has caught his teammate Jeremy Mayfield and could get back on the lead lap. Let's go to the 5th and very top.
Yes, that is the plan. Mayfield said, we're going to let Rusty go. He's my teammate. He's been a huge help to me. That's exactly what just happened. Mayfield pulled up, let the 2 car go by to get him back on the lead lap now. But Rusty's got to hustle because Mayfield can't afford to wait on him. He knows that Dale Jarrett is coming.
With Rusty back on the lead lap in 31st spot.
Well, what they're doing is they're putting it in Rusty's hands. Jeremy let him go by, as he should have. So Rusty's up there. Now, if he can't maintain that pace, and Dale Jarrett comes up and catches Jeremy Mayfield, Jeremy has no choice but go up, a little tap on Rusty's bumper and say, look, Rusty, you got to go on. You have to go on. If you can't, then you got to let me back by.
And then if I can maintain the lead and you're still there somewhere, and a caution comes out, I'll get back to the lead.
On board with 3rd place Mark Martin.
Mark Martin is all over Dale Jarrett.
The guy having a great night as we see the field go by. First of all, Jeff Gordon running up in 6th position. In 7th is this guy with the Circuit City onboard camera. This is Jeff Bodine.
And you see that Joe Nemechek, the Bell South car, the car that lost many, many laps in the pits, is the car between he and Jeff Gordon.
Picked up 4 positions since the start of the race. The highest Jeff has ever finished here was 3rd, and he's done that on 4 occasions in the 32 races that he's competed in, most recently in the spring race of '89.
You'll see Terry Labonte, and also Michael Walton is in 9th position.
I mentioned earlier that Michael and the Wood brothers have decided to part company at the end of this year, or at least Michael's going to look for a new team, and the Wood brothers are going to look for a new driver. And Michael told us earlier in the weekend that, the Wood brothers did, I guess, that if neither one of them can find anything better, second place goes to Mark Martin, but they'll come back together.
Well, that's right. They're going to look around, and Michael's going to see what cars are available. The Wood brothers are going to see what drivers are available. If they don't find something that's compatible in a couple of months, what the heck? They'll go back and say they're going to race in 1999. Bill Weber, what's going on with DJ?
Well, just as Ned speculated, the 88 quality care Ford is a little bit tight. In fact, it's been a little bit tight since the beginning of the race. When they pitted, they put on 4 tires, and they made a chassis adjuster to try and help the car. They did a little bit, but Todd Parrott says DJ is still a little tight right now.
On back to third position, that's Mark Martin, who passed him a few laps ago. Mark is now a second and a half behind the leader, Jeremy Mayfield.
Casey, we're checking your first plus points position. See, Jeff Rhode Island's good run with gained 3 points in the position.
Johnny Benson got awfully high up there in the corner for some damage. A little bit on the left rear.
Yeah, we see someone has gotten into the left rear. That might be what caused him to go high, but didn't look like he made too much contact with the... Oh, we got the 50 car very, very slow down the front straightaway, and I thought we was going to have another crash, but...
Side.
We'll see. Walling Darling back very, very high. It's like it's, I don't know, it's flat tire or I don't know what to do.
Let's go back and take a look and see what happened to Johnny Benson. Top left. There he is.
He was very high. He did a good job of keeping it off the wall, but apparently somebody did get into that left rear corner there that shot him up high, but he kept her out of the wall.
Rusty Wallace trying to stay in the tail end of the lead. There's her lead of the race. Jeremy Mayfield in Mobil 1 Ford Taurus.
Putting Morgan Shepherd another lap down. Morgan brought out our first caution of the evening. Morgan is 13 laps down in 41st.
Mark Martin is beginning to close in a little bit on Jeremy Mayfield. After he got by Dale Jarrett, he was almost a second and a half behind Mayfield, and now it is down to less than a second.
By Morgan Shepherd. Got some damage early on.
Mark off a little bit that last lap when he passed Morgan Shepherd. Over a second again. There we see.
Interval here, and the numbers on the right indicate speed. So Jarrett the fastest, 2.03 seconds behind.
We go back and see that Ted Musgrave in the 23 car had the third fastest time. Musgrave right now is back in 12th position.
Mark Martin cut it down to less than a second that last time.
Benson got sideways and was right Rusty Wallace.
And Martin is right there, right on the back bumper of the leader, Jeremy Mayfield. Oh, and Mark gets sideways off number 2. Oh, he saw that leader up there and he got excited. And nailed that throttle just a little bit too quickly, and the back end jumped out.
And Johnny Benson's got to be wondering, have I got a tire going down or what's going on here?
Take a look again at Johnny Benson and how Rusty and Jeremy had to slam. Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Now we understand why he got sideways, because the 2 car ran in the back of him.
Hit him hard.
And that allowed Martin to close right in. This is from Rusty's car.
Benson goes in right behind the 36 car, and there's the contact with Rusty Wallace.
Already had some damage on the lower left, and he's got a little bit more now from Rusty Wallace. Just some incidental contact.
That's Bristol terminology, yes.
Right. 189 laps as Mark Martin closes in on the leader, Jeremy Mayfield. Back with more of the Goody's Headache Powder 500 in just a moment. Here at Bristol, this one when Ernie Irvin lost it down in turn 4, and it brings out our 4th caution of the evening. Mark Martin had gotten the lead from Jeremy Mayfield.
And this is how Mark took the lead just as we went to break a moment ago. Goes down in the corner. Jeremy goes up the racetrack a little bit, and Mark just dove to the inside and took that spot away.
And then Jeremy Mayfield lost a position to Dale Jarrett.
And see Ernie Irvin there in front of Mark Martin. Now we watch Irvin as he comes off turns 4 and just tries to stay in front of the leader, nails the gas. Around he goes. Mark goes on the inside. Johnny Benson goes on the inside, and man, everybody else just kind of split Ernie.
Oh, they didn't know which way to go.
Mark Martin.
And the leaders are on pit road.
Down to Bill Weber.
Dale Jarrett on pit road, close quarters, wheel straight, foot on the brake, a little bit tight. We'll make an air pressure adjustment on the right rear. Coming around to the left side now, Ward Burton swings in front of him, Bobby Labonte directly behind him. Rusty Wallace crawls down pit road. Here's Jerry Fine.
Right side tires already on now. Left side going on the valve port. Mark Martin said, leave the car alone. No changes. Here's Dale Jarrett. Here's Mayfield. Here's Martin. There'll be Jarrett, Mayfield, and Martin in that order. Let's go to John Kernan.
Kenny Irwin Jr. is in a 4-tire change air pressure adjustment. Because that last time the car got really, really tight on him. They're already finished with the right side. Swing around to the left side as the car's pitted on the front stretch. Already come down and put in positions down. However, they're able to fix this car. Now he's going to... Oh, and John Reddy was backing up. And Kenny Irwin had to stop that. Really cost him some time here on pit road.
Wow. He was running, what, about 10th, wasn't he, Ned?
He's got that 22 now.
And he's going to come out running.
Probably maybe 20th or maybe even more.
22nd, he will come out running. So we can see, we keep talking about the disadvantage of the front stretch, back stretch, and there it is. There we see the back pits, and watch as these leaders. And as we see Kenny Irwin, the 28, trying to race John Andretti, the 43, the STP car, and Andretti will win that battle. Now, looks like the 28 car is coming back in the pits.
Well, he moved to the inside. I'm not sure why. Talking to the NASCAR official.
Slugger back there, Slugger Labby talking to the official.
In any case, 201 laps under the books here at Bristol. We'll be right back. Going green once again to the Goody's Headache Powder 500. Steve Meal, crew chief for Johnny Benson, is not happy.
No, they penalized his driver a couple of laps, I guess, for, they say, passing the pace car. We see Steve going out to talk to the guy, the official. He's just not a happy camper. Don't get your hands off me, he said.
That's
Don't touch me.
Jack Roush watching from another vantage point. He's the team owner.
I can't quite read all those hands. Everybody just upset and waving their hands and what have you. But after all, it's Bristol. It's Saturday night. They're supposed to be.
That's right.
Somebody's supposed to be.
And Rusty Wallace was a big benefactor here. Rusty Wallace was right on the tail end of the lead lap. The caution flag comes out. He goes all the way around, goes to the pits, changes 4 tires. He goes from running 29th to running 15th with 4 fresh tires, or at least 2 fresh tires. When the caution flag came out, the 26th car passed the leader of the race after the start-finish line and went on around trying to get a lap back. But in fact, he passed him after the start-finish line.
Dale Jarrett is the leader of the race. He's our 5th leader tonight, followed by Mayfield. Then Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon is as high as I think he's been all evening, except for maybe the start. He is going for 5 consecutive wins. Nobody has done it in the modern era of NASCAR racing. That is since 1972. The Rainbow Warriors have given him another great pit stop, and he is now up to 4th position. That's the teamwork that Jeff talked about at the very beginning of our program.
And then we go by Ricky Rudd and I think the 18 car on that pit stop. You see Rudd back there, the 10 car is in 5th place. Bobby Labonte is in 6th.
been good to Jeff Gordon, but not at nighttime. Neither has Richmond. He has not won at either of those tracks at night. And Ernie Irvin is staying right there with him, isn't he? Ernie is a lap down in 33rd position.
Was the reason for the caution, the last one. He spun coming off the turn 4 as he was about to be lapped, but he didn't hit anything.
And then we see Jeff Gordon putting a couple of laps on, a couple of car lengths on Ernie Irvin, and now Irvin is drifted back right in front of Ricky Rudd.
Meanwhile, up front, there is Jarrett with the lap car of Sterling Marlin between himself and second place, Jeremy Mayfield.
But look how far Mike Skinner has pulled out in front of the leader. He beat him down into turn 1 and has taken off.
Mike back on the lead lap in 30th position. There are 3 cars on the lead lap, and everybody except Dick Trickle still running in this race. Trickle is not listed as out, but his car is off the track being repaired from his accident.
Meanwhile, Rusty Wallace, their pole sitter back in 15th, has only been able to gain 1 position since the restart. He's up to 14th.
Here's the Hardee's field summary of the manufacturer's battle, first of all. Fords have the first, second, third, fifth, and 7th positions at the moment.
Sterling Marlin going in the corner and bottoming out, dragging the racetrack. You see the sparks flying. And we got a crash in the back.
Come on, though.
Well, it took us a while, but we finally have our typical Bristol crash.
Man, oh
Derek Cope involved. Who else?
Brett Bodine is involved. The 96 car is involved.
John Andretti, Robert Presley, who's making his 100th NASCAR Winston Cup start here this evening.
Wow.
And that's how things can quickly change from a good run to a bad one. Cope will take the gum-out Pontiac behind the wall.
Andretti trying to get his car going, but he's got a lot of damage there. And here's the Jasper Engines car of Robert Presley trying to back out of there.
Mike Skinner, the outside pole sitter, was able to stay in front of the leader and get his lap back.
Let's look at it. On the backstretch.
There we see the 46 car, Jeff Green, gets into Brett Bodine. Kevin LePage, the 16 car, gets turned around. And we see Derek Cope has, I guess, ran into the wall is what he hit. And now he comes down and hits the inside wall. Chad Little's also involved, the John Deere car. You see Presley sitting up there. The 96 car, the Cat car, is also involved. Listen and watch.
Oh, Ward Burton and John Andretti both hard into the outside wall.
Man.
And from Bill Elliott's on board.
Well, he's got good brakes, I know that.
He got her wound down, didn't he?
Sure did. Most of those cars were on the lead lap. We've gone down to 24 cars on the lead lap now. We did have 30.
Skinner is in, Jerry.
They're going to make a 2-tire change. Only a huge break. This caution for Mike Skinner puts him back on the lead lap. He said with the race, it was the worst car he'd ever had. He has down and away a great pit stop. But in the last pit stop, they made a 5-round adjustment. 3 rounds on the right, 2 rounds on the left. And now he says the car is absolutely perfect, and he's back on the lead lap.
He was the second fastest qualifier last night, but it has not gone well for him in the race. Maybe he can get this thing adjusted and
4,300.
out with a good finish anyway.
Left side only.
This crowd loves Bristol. They are here by the thousands to watch the night race at Bristol, one of the most exciting on the 1998 NASCAR Winston Cup. National League East leading Atlanta Braves host Gary Sheffield and Raul Mondesi when the Dodgers visit Turner Field. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, only on ESPN. We are under our 5th caution of the evening here at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Well, it all started when Brett Bodine in the 11 car got a tap from Jeff Green, the 46, and boy, I tell you what, there's just no place to go and watch all these cars spin around, hit the wall, hit each other, and a lot of damage to a lot of cars.
And the cleanup continues. No indication that we'll be going back green. Several cars were involved in the crash, including Bodine, Cope, Andretti, Strickland, and Robert Presley.
And Ward Burton had hit the wall there, I think, as he came up on it or got knocked into the wall.
In fact, there were 4 other drivers, Little, LePage, Bickle, and Ward Burton. Jerry, what's the story on him?
Well, Ward sits inside the MB&A Pontiac here behind the wall. Ward, a tough break for you. We understand you hit the wall. What happened out there?
I don't know. It looked all 11 and somebody get together. All I did was put on the brakes and damn thing just went straight in the wall. Must have been some fluid down there or something.
The car, heavy contact in the wall. It doesn't look that bad, but apparently it's damaged underneath, and they're going to work on the MB&A Pontiac while we're under caution for the 5th time tonight. Working lap 223 here in the Goody's Headache Powder 500. Back with more from Bristol in just a moment.
Way in Northeast Tennessee. That's the side of our NASCAR Winston Cup race here tonight, as Jeff Gordon goes for 5 consecutive wins, trying to become the first driver in the modern era of NASCAR competition since '72 doing that. Well, here's some typical Bristol activity. Work back behind the wall as drivers try to salvage their cars and get them back on the track to pick up points. John Kernan.
Well, you can see the damage to the front end of John Andretti's car. The crew's already cut the fenders off the front. The nose has been pulled off. The radiator has been pushed back where it's almost touching the engine. Part of the very front part of the front clip looks like it's bent down a little bit. So Robbie Loomis and the guys have got their work cut out for them to try and get this car ready to get back out onto the racetrack.
And John Andretti's had a good run going. He's finished 13th or better in the last 7 races and moved to 11th in the point standings. Here's the battle up front. Jeremy Mayfield and Mark Martin, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Back and 4th is Gordon.
And Jeremy Mayfield has been all over Dale Jarrett since the green flag flew again.
See Jeremy Mayfield go down and touch the apron with the left side, and the car drug the racetrack.
Down to Bill Weber.
For Dale Jarrett, a very similar situation to last night. His car gets better the longer he runs. Not good on short runs, better on long runs. So the 12 and 6, you can take their best shot now.
They'll have the halfway mark coming up here in about 16 laps.
Yep.
So that's $10,000. All of them like to have that.
Taking a look to the inside, and he's going to make the move. Put Mayfield back in front.
And here comes Mark Martin trying to take over that 2nd spot. He's there, got position. He'll go into 2nd.
And while that was going on, Ricky Rudd went around Jeff Gordon back there and took over the 4th position.
There is Rudd, who has been among the 5 leaders tonight. Rudd has led 43 laps. The most have been led by Jeremy Mayfield, 131. And as Ned said, we're closing in on the halfway point. There is Gordon, who is back in 5th spot.
Bobby Labonte, he's the 6th place car, and right behind him a pretty good battle going between Jeff Bodine, he's in 7th, and Terry Labonte, the Kellogg's car, and Ted Musgrave brings the Winston car back up in the battle.
I haven't heard much about Terry Labonte, but he just quietly stays up there in the top 10, and he'll be heard from before this race is over.
And Ted Musgrave having another good run here tonight. He is substituting, as we said, for Jimmy Spencer, who still trying to get over the concussion that he suffered during the running of the Brickyard 400.
Spencer says he does plan to run next week at Loudon, New Hampshire.
Terry Labonte, of course, a former winner here at Bristol, has 2 victories, and Musgrave just took a position from Terry.
Yes, he did. Moved into the 8th position.
Terry won't get too excited about that. He doesn't get too excited about anything.
A little bit of damage there on Dale Earnhardt's car.
Still there, clear.
A lot of damage on that 46 car of Jeff Green, the money store car.
See Skinner, who just got his lap back, came in and changed 4 tires, and he's now up to 16th position.
Won't burn him up.
They're going to burn those new tires up.
The Fords are doing well here, as you can see on the Hardee's Field summary, with 5 in the top 7.
Rick Henry, 2 of his Chevrolets in top 10. Jeff Gordon and Terry Labonte. There's the Pontiacs. Bobby Labonte is leading that group.
Rusty Wallace was able to get back on the lead lap after losing a lap because of a brake problem. And he has now worked his way up to 11th position.
Make that 12.
Just lost it right then, but still, he's only about a half a lap behind the leaders, so he really has made a great comeback.
Sure has.
And the car looks like it's a little worse for the wear, trying to work his way back through there, as a matter of fact.
The battle for 7th here. We're on board with Jeff Bodine, looking back on Ted Musgrave. And Jerry has more on Ted.
Well, they have been trying to get the car number 23 tight enough all night long, and finally Donnie Wingo made the call. They put 3 rounds of bite. Yeah, I said 3 rounds of bite in that 23. And man, Musgrave is the man on the picture right now. The car is tight enough. And by the way, you mentioned Jimmy Spencer. He is down here in the pit helping check the tire, check air pressure. He is right now the biggest cheerleader Ted Musgrave has. He'd love to be in the car. He was almost tearful when they put the green flag, but he is a part of this team and will be back, as Ned said, next Sunday.
Boy, Jimmy has made no bones about it. He hates to be on the sidelines and see anyone else driving his car, but I know he's happy to see Ted doing such a great job in the Winston Ford.
One thing it's doing, Jimmy is losing in the point standings. He was in the top 10 before he had to sit out these 2 races, but is keeping that number 23 car up there in the point standings, and that is very important. Here's trouble on the front straightaway.
Oh, a car, Brett Bodine has slid to the inside wall near the end of the front stretch.
And the leader, Jeremy Mayfield, ran in the back of Jerry Nadeau, but I don't think he hit him hard enough for any damage to the front of the car. I don't see any damage there.
Yeah, I don't think he did. Jerry Nadeau had slowed down considerably coming to the flag there, which is what he's supposed to do because there was a car in trouble on the front straightaway, and Mayfield couldn't get slowed down quite quick enough.
Brett Bodine got his car righted and pulled out ahead of Musgrave, or rather Mayfield. However, he is still a lap down in 32nd position.
Now, let's see. How many of these guys will make pit stops now?
Well, I don't know. They've only gone about 50 laps, or a little less than 50 laps since they were in, so I doubt if we'll see them. It's coming around for the halfway mark of the race, but the $10,000 won't be awarded on this lap.
There we see Brett Bodine just lost control coming off turn 4, and that's where all the smoke came from, is he nailed the gasoline trying to keep the car going off the wall, and we'll see what...
He's on the bottom. Tracks clear, tracks clear, tracks clear, tracks clear. Go, 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 go. Caution's out.
Wally Dallenbach driving through the smoke and getting by unscathed. 6th caution of the evening is out over Bristol Motor Speedway at exactly the halfway point. Well, now we'll see what happens on pit stops. Remember, Jeff Gordon?
If they make them.
Yeah.
Well, right now the pit road is open, and I don't see anybody making a move. Nope. Jeff Gordon, they all stay out there, giving up that, afraid to give up that track position, but 28's in the back pits, isn't he, John?
Yeah, Benny, you're right, along with Rick Mast and Bill Elliott, Dale Earnhardt, all getting 4 tires. Irwin said, the car's good, let's make it really good. So 4 tires the same way. Darrell Walker beats him out as to the 75 and 94. And there's a tire that got hit, but fortunately it just banks against the wall and doesn't hurt anything. Just a minor hit.
Okay. Well, the caution is out. We'll be back with more of the Goody's Headache Powder 500 in a moment. Caution here at Bristol Motor Speedway, 254 laps into the Goody's Headache Powder 500. At this racetrack and a lot of others, you have to have both rear tires pulling in the same direction. Here's this week's track fact. Track facts are brought to you by Quaker State.
In NASCAR Winston Cup racing, there are 2 types of legal rear-end gears. the Detroit Locker rear-end gear, and the open rear-end gear. Now, the open gear is what most teams will run while qualifying at Daytona or Talladega. It allows the two rear wheels to operate independently of one another. It gives the driver perhaps a little smoother ride around the track and a little better feel for the car. It might be worth a tenth of a second in qualifying. But in those races, and just about every other race, most teams will run a Detroit Locker rear-end gear. It locks the two rear wheels together, forcing them to operate in tandem around the track, except going into the turn, because when a driver gets out of the gas, the right wheel will unlock. It needs to spin faster because it has a greater distance to travel. But going out of the turn, when the driver gets back in the gas, the two wheels will lock up again, giving him more traction off the turn. The Detroit Locker rear-end gear, one of the most dependable pieces in NASCAR Winston Cup racing.
Benny, you were outstanding on that track back.
Didn't I do good?
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
That has never been explained better.
Thanks to Weber.
Yeah. Look at the crowd. They're on their feet. They love it.
And they want to be on TV. All right, you're on TV.
And we're about to go back to green.
All right, folks, sit down. Watch this green flag.
5 laps to determine the halfway money.
Jeremy Mayfield right now is out front. Mark Martin is second. Then it's Dale Jarrett, Ricky Rudd, and Jeff Gordon running in 5th spot.
Martin's right in the middle of a hornet's nest.
He sure is. And Jeremy Mayfield is driving away, and you can count that money here just very shortly.
Well, Mark finally cleared the hornet's nest. Now Dale Jarrett and Jeff Gordon have to run through it.
And Ricky Rudd. Ricky Rudd is in 4th place.
Ricky Rudd's had an awfully good run here tonight. Never see Bobby Labonte looking on the inside of Jeff Gordon. But Gordon uses the 26 car as a pick, maintains that 5th position.
On board with Jeff Bodine, and he's having a great run in 7th.
There he is, the 42 car of leadership, several laps down. This is Labonte's car, the Interstate Batteries Pontiac, as he looks back at Jeff Bodine. And he says, I hope this is as close as it gets all night.
Gordon and Labonte. There's Terry Labonte, who's running back in 9th. Ted Musgrave just ahead of him in 8th.
And Jeff Burton, how about Jeff Burton's had a great run going tonight, up to 10th place.
99 car right behind Terry Labonte.
There he goes.
Give Jeremy $10,000 for leading at the halfway point.
And right now, Ned, Dale is closed, falling back right in the clutches of Ricky Rudd.
That's it. That situation that he's had every time on restarts, that car just for about 10 or 12 laps just won't go too good. He was about 5 miles an hour off the pace on the first lap of the leaders. Now he's gradually working back up. He's only just a fraction of a mile an hour slower than the leaders. But
28 is right on your back leg, will you? Right on.
Yeah, he is.
No kidding.
I'll agree with that.
A little mental loose there.
This is the third battle for the 13th position. And we can see the rear bumper cover on Skinner's car has been knocked loose.
Skinner came in and got 4 tires during that last pit stop, and so did Kenny Irwin.
Outside.
Skinner
outside.
is here on the
Come on,
front stretch.
still there. Outside.
Irwin on the back stretch.
And Skinner trying to get on
33 if
Schrader.
you need it.
That's 12th position we're watching. See Earnhardt.
He's back in 16th.
Still there. Clear. Good job.
And here comes Kenny Irwin up beside Ken Schrader.
Now remember, those cars took on new tires. Kenny Schrader did not. And it's telling there right now. He's got about 50 laps on his tires.
Rick Mast goes by and takes over. Now,
all four of these cars battling for position.
Ken Musgrave in the 23 car closes in right on the back bumper of Jeff Bodine. This battle's going on almost 6 seconds behind the leader. We see Jeff Burton on the inside of Terry Labonte.
And trying to get the 9th position away. He'll force Terry up the hill, and Jeff goes to 9th.
The outside batters in 9th spot.
On board with Wally Donovac, who is a lap down in 27th. So he's not involved in the battle for position here, but he's running with Terry Labonte. He is in a battle for position with the 1 car, Steve Park.
Went a lap down early, Steve Park did, and Wally. In the first 150 or so laps, went a lap down.
There you see on the move, Kenny Irwin from 34th up to 13th, and Darrell Waldrop, who started last in 43rd position, is up to 24th. Earnhardt has gained 15 spots.
Bobby Hamilton gained 14.
I was going to try to do that arithmetic in my head, Benny, but I couldn't, so I let you do it.
That's why I did it for you, because I knew you never did it.
How about some Tabasco hot zone telemetry here?
Mark Martin gains on Jeremy Mayfield. See those RPMs in miles per hour.
Uh-oh, Jeff Gordon loses another spot. Bobby Labonte moves into the 5th spot. Gordon back to 6th. Oh, we got trouble up in, looks like Winston in the wall up in 1.
Indeed it
and
is.
No caution flag yet, but he's going to stop.
Now the caution's out.
Caution is out for the 7th time, Jerry.
Kenny Schrader came right up on the 26 and started to make a move, and he looked like he was going to go left and right and then couldn't make a decision, or maybe couldn't get the car cut enough. He ran right into the back of the 26 car, lifted the 26 up in the air, and then it was over with. Benson's car began to sail up toward the wall, and thus the caution flag.
Well, we pick it up after Schrader had made the impact with Johnny.
We saw the impact with the wall. Obviously, that's the damage to the back of the car was done when he backed in the fence, not when Schrader ran the back of it, but that was the cause of going in the wall.
Now, will they pit? They've run about 77, 78 laps since they pitted. I believe they'll come in this time.
Looks like they are. The pit road is open.
Yep. Now we'll see if the Rainbow Warriors can get Jeff some positions on the racetrack in the pits, Bill.
His last pit stop was 17.6 seconds. Triple pits on your screen. Right side tires for Gordon going on. They're going to make a track bar adjustment. Jerry punches in the leader's pit.
Likewise, a track bar adjustment in the Mayfield car. 12, 6, and 24. You're seeing Mayfield, Martin, and Gordon. Gordon is out. Here comes Mayfield. They are side by side. Looks like Bobby Labonte will be the first one across pit road. 17-second pit stop for the 24 crew. Let's go to John Kernan.
Kenny Irwin and his crew talked about not making a pit stop, but they go with right side tires only. Let's see. It looks like he may be tied with Mark Martin, so he's going to come out in front of Jeff Gordon. Took only right side tires. He was a little bit tight that last run. Rick Masters come in. He's taking on 4 tires. Bill Elliott, last pit stop, took only right side tires. He's back in. He takes on 4 tires. They head back out there.
So Irwin gains quite a few positions on the track by just taking 2 tires. Hey, look who just led a lap. Dale Earnhardt.
Now, he had stopped not too long ago during the last caution, so he is the leader of the race now.
More from John Kernan.
Yeah, that was, what, about 15, 16 laps ago. In fact, Earnhardt pitted once, took on right side tires. He then had to come back in and take on left side tires. So he got 4 fresh tires. They only had about 15 hard laps on them, so they decided to keep the Intimidator out on the racetrack to gain track position.
So Dale Earnhardt up front, and look at the battle for position coming out of the pits.
Hey, you're right. Here comes Bobby Labonte. There goes the 12. Here comes Dale Jarrett. And right behind him, there Mark Martin is leaving. And right behind him is Jeff Gordon watching all this stuff. There we see Gordon going out.
Now, Bobby Labonte is one that made a great pit stop here on the front pits.
Yep.
He was running in 5th position, came out of that group in 1st, but he's not leading the race.
He will be in 3rd position as we go back to green, and Jeff Gordon will be in the 8th position. No driver in the last 10 years has won both races In the same year, Jeff Gordon did win the spring race here at Bristol. We'll be right back. Green flag, we are back to racing here at Bristol, and there are several lap cars ahead of the leader of the race, Dale Earnhardt. Darrell Waltrip is running second, and then Bobby Labonte third.
And a number of those cars in front there are just one lap down. Sterling Marlin, he's back on the lead lap. So is Steve Park and Ernie Irvin and Wally Dallenbach. They're racing for their life out there in front of Dale Earnhardt to try to stay on that lead lap. With the cautions you come out here pretty early. Hey, they'll be right back in.
Wow, look at the traffic out there as Rudd moves below Gordon.
Here comes Skinner. Oh! And there comes Ted Musgrave, the 23 car. I'll tell you what, when you get slow cars in front of the field of faster cars, your tires on at Bristol, that's a recipe for disaster.
I hate to see a wreck develop in the middle of that pack there, but take out a lot of competitive cars. Wow, Jeff Bodine, who was running up in the top 10, is behind the wall. What's going on down there?
Well, Bob, very tight quarters down here on pit road. Jeff Bodine has hit 18 cars' tires a couple of times, leaving his stall. This time he hit one really good. It knocked the radiator out of it. He's behind the wall. They're trying to replace it, get him back out. John Kernan.
Bill Elliott just came on the pit road with right side tires. He thought he had a right rear tire going down. It was very, very loose. Now Sterling Marlin's talking things over now with his crew chief Tony Glover, saying, hey, I think I have a left rear tire going down. Now Tony will take a look. He's come up several pits. He will look at the left rear tire as Marlin comes down on the pit road. Says left sides only. So Sterling with a flat left rear tire. So this is caution, and there's a crash. Turn number 2 to 13 car.
Dennis Setzer into the wall in turn number 2. Another scrambling to avoid him, including Chad Little.
Break 4. Ernie Irvin and the one car of Steve Park, they got back on the lead lap.
Dennis Setzer trying to get the thing started. There's a lot of raw fuel in the exhaust pipe. And when he tries to start it and he opens the throttle, look at all that fuel come pouring. The bank is just pouring all that fuel out of the carburetor.
He probably realized that, so he said, let me get it turned around. He don't know how much damage he's got to that Ford. Whoops, better get out of there, Dennis.
Yeah, I think he finally got it started now. There we go. All he need to do is start the thing and get all that fire out, and I'd be good to go.
Damage to the rear and the right front of the car.
See the First Plus Financial crew. We see him there on the outside of Skinner as he comes down, and then we see Ted Musgrave on the inside. And just a little touch from Terry Labonte as he go down in the corner, and Setzer goes in that wall.
Here it is from another angle. Just the slightest touch from Labonte.
Watched all those cars go by, and just fortunately he did not come down the racetrack.
Caution number 8 is out over Bristol Motor Speedway here at the end of 291 laps. Dale Earnhardt still leads. Just after 9:30 Eastern Time, if you're just joining us, welcome to ESPN Speed World coverage of the Goody's Headache Powder 500 from Bristol Motor Speedway in Tennessee. And a beautiful overhead shot from the Pennzoil copter cam. We've talked about how Jeff Gordon is going for 5 in a row and how nobody's done it in the modern era. Richard Petty and Bobby Allison both did it in 1971. That is not considered the modern era. Everything since 72 is. And, of course, Richard Petty won 10 in a row back in 1967. And then there is the story about Billy Wade, who won 4 races in a row. July 10th in Old Bridge, New Jersey, July 12th in Bridgehampton, New York, July 15th at Islip, New York, and July 19th in Watkins Glen, New York. In the year 1964, he won 4 in a row and never won again.
And unfortunately, Bob has lost his life. He tested tires for Goodyear at Daytona, and he's the guy, he and Darrell Derringer, that tested the tires for Bud Moore and for Goodyear, the interliner tires, and he was killed during that test.
There is Jeff Gordon and the Rainbow Warriors. They're going for 5 in a row here tonight. And just like last week, Jeff has not really been a contender tonight. He's currently in 10th position, and he has not led a lap so far. Under caution, it was out on lap 289.
And there was in the 13 car, Dennis Setzer, the First Plus Financial car. Little tap from Labonte in turn one. Into the wall he goes.
Down to Bill Weber on Jeff Bodine.
Jeff Bodine sits behind the wall. They're trying to change out the radiator. He's still in the car with the helmet on. He hopes to get back out. He's losing laps, and we're back under green.
And Wally Dallenbach was up there alongside Dale Earnhardt and missed a shift or something because he dropped back.
Well, he realized that he was up there in front of Earnhardt, and he didn't want to go across the start-finish line in front of him. So he did back off.
Well, Dale Earnhardt is out front at Bristol. Boy, we used to say that a lot. We haven't recently, but it's good that Dale is back out front here at Bristol. He's being pursued, however, by Bobby Labonte, and the interval is shrinking.
And Jeremy Mayfield, and that interval is shrinking as well. The distance between second and third is inches. Here comes Jeremy. Oh, he's got a good car tonight. Oh, we got a crash. There's Michael Waltrip. Had a great run going. And caution flag waves once again.
Michael Waltrip was in the top 10 at one point in the evening, and now it's beginning to look a lot like Bristol as we have heavily damaged race cars, including that of Steve Park.
And he had gotten back on the lead lap just a little bit ago, but now, damn, look at the damage to the sit-go Ford.
John Kernan has more on Steve Park.
This might very well be the end to a positively terrible night for Steve Park and his team. Earlier in the race, talking things over with Felipe Lopez's crew chief, he said, I don't like this car. I don't like it so much that whenever we get it back to Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, let's make a show car out of it.
I guess he doesn't like it, huh?
I don't think he likes that car.
They'll have to fix it up a little bit to make a show car out of it. They wouldn't want it out there like that, would they?
Well, they could tell him this is how a car looks when it runs Bristol.
There you go.
Be a nice show car.
We're under our 9th caution of the evening. 301 laps completed. Back in just a moment. The green flag comes out. You rejoin us here at Bristol. Dale Earnhardt still has the lead. A lap car, but no lap cars between himself and Terry Labonte right second. Then comes Jeremy Mayfield and Mark Martin.
And there we see Mark Martin on the inside of the lap car. Sterling Marlin said, let me go up here and race with these guys.
And Sterling did exactly what Wally Dallenbach did there a moment ago. Earnhardt was very slow taking off, and Sterling jumped out, and then he had to put the brakes on almost to not beat him to the start-finish line. So that let a lot of cars pass him.
He's 2 laps down in 28th position, Sterling Marlin is.
He, of course, made a green flag pit stop when he had a flat tire.
Dale Earnhardt has led 30 laps here tonight. Jeremy Mayfield has led the most, 173. And Mayfield taking a look at Bobby Labonte.
Jeff Gordon is back in 10th spot, folks, as he tries to work his way back after that pit stop. There we see 28 to 10. Jeff Gordon, that's 6 through 10th. 7th through 10th, I'm sorry. Bob's and there goes a 6 car by Jeremy, moves him into 3rd spot.
Mark Martin had been running the fastest laps here since the green flag came out again. Still is.
And now Bobby Labonte trying to get the lead from Dale Earnhardt. He's on the high side of the racetrack.
Not often do you see him pass for the lead on the high side. But now Earnhardt's tires are older than those cars that are passing him right now.
And Bobby Labonte takes the lead for the first time this evening.
You see Mark Martin going by Earnhardt on the outside, or trying to, I should say.
Becomes our 7th leader so far tonight. We're averaging only about 84 miles an hour because of the 9 caution flags that we have had for 62 laps. John has 4 on their hunt.
Bob, I talked to Dale's crew chief Kevin Hamlin before this, or during this last caution, asking why they had not pitted earlier, aside from track position. He said, well, we just really don't have enough sets of tires. They only have 3 sets of sticker tires left. However, Mike Thomas has brought over another set that they've gotten from the 77 car of Robert Presley. So now Earnhardt has 4 sets of sticker tires, and we're inside of 185 laps to go. That should do him fine till the end.
Hardy's field summary will show you the point positions as of now. Bobby Labonte picking up 1. Top 2 or 3 staying the same. Now the 99 car of Jeff Burton has come up to challenge Earnhardt for the 4th spot.
Yeah, he has really been going since this green flag came back out. He went around Dale Jarrett a little bit ago and just ran away from him, and now has caught this group up here. His lap speed, until he caught him, was about almost 2 miles an hour faster than those up in front of him.
He finally worked his way into the 4th position.
On short tracks this year, Jeff Burton finished 4th here at Bristol in the spring, 32nd at Martinsville, 7th at Richmond.
We'll check as we see the running order. There's the AutoZone on-track interval between the 99 and the leader. We see he went from 1.9 to 1.2 seconds behind. And Jeff Burton, every lap almost the same. 3 laps in a row. Those 3 in a row, 16.7.
Well, that's what you look for is consistency. And Mark Martin takes the lead.
Yeah, Mark Martin goes back into the lead. He will lead his 10th lap of the evening. There you see that there are 22 cars on the lead lap, and the last driver on the lead lap is Darrell Walter, the 12-time winner here at Bristol. He's won this race 7 times, and the spring race 5.
Here is Rusty Wallace and Ricky Rudd racing for the 7th and 8th position. Wallace has the 7th position.
And Rusty Wallace, what a comeback that is to go from a lap down to work his way back to the 7th position. And Jeff Gordon still back mired in 9th position. They've been able to get by the 28 car of Kenny Irwin, who's back in 10th. The lap leaders there, Mayfield. Wow, 73 laps.
And look at Jeff Burton just whizzed around the 12 car of Jeremy Mayfield.
Jeff Burton in 3rd position, and for you Jeff Burton fans, he is back in the race. It'll be about 19 laps in the rears, but nevertheless is back in competition.
That's too bad because he did have a good run going here tonight, and here's another one of those drivers that needed a good run, needed a top 10 finish.
Once again, there's Rusty Wallace and Ricky Rudd doing battle for 7th position. Look at the speeds. Jeff Burton is the fastest car on the racetrack, was that last lap. And Rusty was 3rd quick.
Almost because he's staying right with Rusty. There he was, the 3rd fastest that time.
And he's taking a look on the inside of Rusty. Has a position.
Yep. That puts Ricky Rudd up into 7th position. These great overhead shots are from the Penfoil Copter Cam. High over Bristol Motor Speedway. And there's the interval back from the 7th place car. And back to 3rd and 4th. Mayfield has retaken that position.
Yeah, I think Burton got a little high down turns 1 and 2.
More from Bill Weber.
Well, I'd like to tell you that these guys pulled off some magic on their last pit stop, or that they found something, but in reality, the last time Burton stopped, they put on 4 tires and fuel. They just say their car keeps getting better and better lap after lap.
I won't argue with that. Jeremy Maple's car is under slots either, because he's able to maintain that pace that Burton set him and passed him back. Yep.
is the leader of the race by almost a full second over Bobby Labonte. Martin's average finish here at Bristol is the best of all drivers. Racing in their performance tonight. First, fourth, 17th, 26th, and 36th.
Gordon Shepard in his battered Chevrolet. Brett Bodine, they're about to go another lap down. Brett is in 27th position, one lap down. Let's go for more on him. Bill Weber.
And Brett is struggling in the car, involved in an early crash in this race. They knocked out the blower at that point. He's really battling the heat and some dehydration. They have Kenny Wallace in their pit with his helmet on, ready to replace Brett. They want to wait for a caution, but if Brett can't hold out, they'll bring him in and put Kenny Wallace in the Paychex Ford.
Well, Brett's been involved in a couple of incidents tonight. That big one over on the back stretch, and then he crashed here on the front stretch. All that, he's still only one lap down. Here is Dale Jarrett taking the 5th position from Dale Earnhardt.
And here's Ricky Rudd trying to take that 6th position away.
Johnny Benson spent several laps behind the wall. He's 61 laps down, but back in competition. Now Rudd drives to the outside of Earnhardt and tries to take the 6th place away from Dale.
Dale gives him running room. Stays on that inside line. Lets him work for it. You got to work a little harder when you pass on that outside than you do on the inside.
Dale Earnhardt led 34 laps tonight.
Rusty Wallace. He's about in 7th position.
Over Bobby Labonte and about 2 seconds over Jeremy Mayfield. Laps are clicking away. 338 completed out of 500 in the Goody's Headache Powder 500. In commercial break, we have another caution. That is the situation right now. Jerry Nadeau spinning off of corner number 2. Don't think he hit anything, but look at the pit activity now that is about to begin.
Well, they could make it from here on, I think, as far as gas is concerned. 154 laps to go once they come across the start-finish line this time.
Down to Jerry Punch.
They have not made a single change in Mark Martin's car the past 3 pit stops. His only complaint, the car a little bit tight in the middle of the corner. Let's check in with Jeff Gordon, down with Bill Weber.
Well, Gordon has told Ray Evernham the car is awful, very, very loose. They dropped both rear tires 1 pound. They made a chassis adjustment on the right side. Left rear is going on. Windshield is clean. Gordon is away. Another good stop. Earnhardt's on pit road. John.
Here on the backstretch, Dale Earnhardt, who had led for a while, got track position, but then his older tires started to show. He started falling back, I believe, back to 7th or 8th. They're going to make a chassis adjustment in the left rear of that car. The 4 tires going on down to the left. Great pit stop for Earnhardt. King Irwin Jr. is on. He's got 4 tires, and also there's the air pressure adjustment to the left rear tire of Kenny Irwin.
Jeff Gordon did pick up a position in the pits as the Rainbow Warriors had another great stop.
Now, if these chassis adjustments work, maybe he can work his way towards the front.
He is in 6th position right now, under caution because of this that was happening just a few minutes ago. Lap 345. Here's Nadeau.
There's him spinning. Watch this as he smokes those tires. And watch Mark Martin just stop. Watch him stop because he cannot see in that smoke. Jerry Nadeau did a 360. Watch him just spins those tires. Goes around. Look, how would you see through that? Look, you can't even see the cars in that. No wonder they all stop.
Big smoke screen up. Jerry didn't hit anything, kept going, but it certainly did create a smoke screen for those following. Looks like he just got down into the 2nd corner and lost it.
Look at all the smoke. I mean, that's really amazing how the visibility is just totally obscured. All right, watch Martin. Look behind him. That's what he's seeing in front of him as well.
Now from Bobby Labonte's perspective.
luckily nothing was there when Labonte went in smoke.
There is Nadu, who was the spinner over there in turn number 2.
Didn't hit anything that time.
9 laps down in 30th position, Jerry is. Take a look at a pit summary. Mark Martin stayed the same, so did Bobby Labonte. Mayfield lost a position. Burton gained 1, and Jeff Gordon gained 3.
Yeah, from 9th to 6th.
Earnhardt was one of the cars he was able to pass because Dale was pitting on the backstretch.
He passed Dale Jarrett for another one.
And Ricky Rudd.
Rudd, exactly.
Green flag, green flag.
They're going the Thorn-Apple Valley Ford out on the inside, just lapped a couple of laps before the caution flag came out.
Bill Weber has more on the Dale Jarrett situation back in 7th.
Bob, he continues to be tight. So Todd Parrott said on that stop, they decided to really free it up. They made a track bar adjustment and an air pressure adjustment. They can go to the finish. They won't need fuel. The question will be handling for Dale Jarrett.
Well, looks like he made some good adjustments because he's passed Jeff Gordon up in 6th now.
Ricky Rudd working on Gordon. And Jarrett works on Sterling Marlin, who's a couple laps down.
Jarrett takes a look to the inside. By Sterling Marlin. Something not good there. And there's Jeff Gordon trying to get on the inside. Sterling Marlin. Here comes Ricky Rudd and Mike Skinner. All those cars battling for position. That's 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Mike Skinner's had a good run, and he lost that lap, remember, got it back, and he's been up in the top 10 quite a while now. Here's a Bud race recap. Mark Martin, your leader, has led 45 of the first 355 laps, 12 lead changes, 10 caution periods totaling 67 laps, and the average speed just under 85. Here are your lap leaders. Jeremy Mayfield has led the most, but has not gotten the 5 bonus points for leading the most laps. Not yet. About 9 laps, he will be able to get those. They're the drivers that are off the track, whose cars are being worked on. And there are the 4 drivers who are out of competition.
And there you saw Jeremy Mayfield go by Jeff Burton and take over that 3rd spot.
On one of the drivers who just come back in competition.
And that would be Brett Bodine. He went back out on the track, but during that caution, he did get out of the car. Kenny Wallace got back in. They put Brett on oxygen, then put him in a golf cart. He was able to walk to the golf cart under his own power. They've taken him to the infield care center. He looks like he's had a tough night, but he also gave a little thumbs up. He's okay. We'll check on him in a couple of laps here.
About 3/4 of a second between the leader, Mark Martin, and second place, Bobby Labonte.
It's about 10, 12 car lengths.
Well, we see the 3rd and 4th place cars. Here comes Jarrett and Gordon. We saw Jarrett pass Jeff Gordon a little bit ago, but he's not been able to drive away.
And Jarrett, of course, is very much in contention for the championship and would like to have Jeff in his rearview mirror the rest of the race. He is 3rd in points coming in, but as I told you earlier in the evening, the battle, the 3-way battle for the championship in NASCAR Winston Cup competition this year is closer than last year.
That's the way things stand right now. Jeff Gordon had a problem, wrecked in last year's race. Dale Jarrett won the race, so he gained a lot of points in that one, so we might not be able to say that next week.
There you see Jarrett was 280 behind at this point in 97 and 233 behind this year, but down there on the bottom you see that Jarrett gained 266 points on Gordon after Michigan last year. And Mark Martin only gained 70, and that wouldn't be quite enough to win the title, but the bottom line is, guys, the battle for the championship is far from over.
Oh, yeah. There's too many races left to see.
During a commercial break a few minutes ago, we kind of laughed at ourselves and said, well, doesn't look like the Jeff Gordon is going to win 5 in a row, but this is exactly the situation he was in last week.
If we hadn't been at Michigan last week, we could say that, but we were there and watched him being really and truly about a 5th or 6th place car, and they came in that last pit stop, made some changes, and he was able to win the race. But it doesn't look like that they're going to be able to do that tonight. Just right now, looking at this situation, it looks like that Gordon has his hands full staying where he is on the racetrack.
It does. It's a work in progress, you might say. They continue to make adjustments on that DuPont Chevrolet and trying to stay up there, but he just, as he said, he and Ray Abraham both before the race, he said it to the media, we just have to come out here with all 4 fenders on that thing with a good finish.
There is Mark Martin, who is second in points, who has the lead right now, and Jeff Gordon started this race in 7th position, and only Darrell Walter back in 1978 was able to win from the 7th starting spot. Back in a moment. And it's just about 10 o'clock Eastern time now, and for those of you just joining us, we welcome you to the Goody's Heading Counter 500 that is being led by Mark Martin by about a second and a half over Bobby Labonte. Brett Bodine has climbed out of this car. He's not feeling well, and he's given the controls over to Kenny Wallace.
Position 3 laps down. Paycheck still number 11.
The leader go by Mark Martin, and there's Ward Burton. There's the second place car. He's a second and a half behind Mark Martin.
Well carved Jeremy Mayfield right behind him.
Behind Jeremy is the 99 car. Oh, a little tail happy there. Jeff Burton, the 99 car, came off the corner. Now look at Rusty Wallace. After all he's been through tonight, he's now battling back for the 4th position with Jeff Burton. That's Rusty in the 2 car, and it's not really a battle.
And there he goes. Rusty up into 4th. He was a lap down earlier in the evening and got it back, and he's very much in contention. Check the speeds at the line, see who's the fastest out there. Because he was involved in a battle with Burton. It is, let's see, 23 maybe?
Ted Musgrave had the good time. How about that?
Well, this time it might change. No, we're really on traffic.
No.
There's that time. He's not in traffic.
This time we'll see that. Ted Musgrave was the second time out of the 3 laps we've watched, had the fastest time. But again, Musgrave is on the racetrack totally by himself, not having to worry about any traffic whatsoever.
In 10th position.
And once again, Musgrave out there by himself, running some good laps.
Third fastest on that last lap was Bobby Hamilton, who's back in 19th spot on the lead lap.
Oh, and we see that Jeremy Mayfield has been able to get by Bobby Labonte and take over that 2nd spot.
And now Jeremy Mayfield will set sail for Mark Martin. He's got about 2 seconds to make up.
And Labonte has troubles with Rusty Wallace right on his back bumper, and there goes Rusty. And Labonte's car all of a sudden is slow.
I believe when another car gets right on his back bumper, Benny, it makes it loose. Here comes Burton down on the inside. He's going to make the pass as well. So drop Bobby all the way back to 5th.
Second, just a couple of laps ago, now back to 5th spot. We've been watching Ted Musgrave run those good laps. He just moved into the 9th position. Was able to get by Mike Skinner.
Chad Little, the 97 car there, is 2 laps down in 25th spot.
Bob in the
appear to be two fairly evenly matched cars, the 2 and the 99, Rusty Wallace and Jeff Burton.
Napa Field summary shows you the manufacturers battle, which is tightening up. There's the Ford leaderboard, and there are 5 Fords in the top 6.
The first Chevrolet is Jeff Gordon, who's running back in 8th position. The other car in the top 5 is the Pontiac of Bobby Labonte.
Gordon's about 7.5 seconds behind Mark Martin.
Ford has led 348 laps tonight. That's pretty impressive. There's the rookie battle. 20-point lead for Kenny Irwin. And there is Kenny, who continues to run a good race. He's in 15th. We're on board with Bill Elliott.
I guess we now get a Barbie at McDonald's, huh? Is that what that says?
Yeah.
Are they talking about the Australian Barbie? Something to eat.
Like shrimp on the Barbie, huh?
Shrimp on the Barbie, yes.
Mark Martin coming up on some lap traffic now. That's Elliott Sadler just ahead.
Gordon go by. Ted Musgrave closing in, and there's Mike Skinner. There's a 10th place car.
And a spin over in turn number 3. Wally Dollar.
Got a spin right in front of him. Back her down, stay at the bottom, all the way to the bottom, all the way to the bottom. Go.
And Jeff Gordon just barely escaped.
I don't know that Ricky Rudd hit anything. I think he just might have just stopped. Ward Burton, in fact, hit Jerry Nadeau. That's where he got the damage to his car.
Yeah, you may be right. There doesn't appear to be much damage, if any, on Rudd's, but Jerry's is
and the left front, this area is where Ward Burton ran into the 9 car. We can see the damage to the right behind the left front tire.
Okay, they've got just over 100 laps to go. Hasn't been but about 50 laps since they were in. Will they stop again?
Here's a replay.
You ever see Nadeau? Well, they see Ward Burton has hit him. You see Ricky Rudd just stop. Your Jeff Gordon drives down the apron of the racetrack. So does Skinner. So does Kenny Schrader. And look at Terry Labonte. He's going to go by on the outside.
Squeezes in there. But I think Rudd's car died once he pulled up here and stopped. And it took him a little bit to get it fired up.
And they are making pit stops. Here's Jerry.
All right, down pit road, just over 100 laps to go. Here is Mark Martin in. They could have made it the rest of the way. Martin could have made it, so could have Mayfield, but this is a break for Rusty Wallace, who could not have made it the rest of the way on fuel. Now left side tires going on the Valvoline Ford of Mark Martin. Here comes Rudd, who will pull right in front of Martin on pit road after having stopped up there in the lead of caution. Martin is down and away. Let's go to Bill Weber.
Jeff Gordon continues to battle a very, very loose race car. They have made a chassis adjustment. They've got the left side tires on it. With a 4-tire stop, he's on his way. Kernan.
Dale Earnhardt's crew in the middle of 4-tire change. No chassis adjustments. The left. The one that's coming off. Tires coming off. Between the windshield. There goes Bobby Labonte by. And Earnhardt's teammate Mike Skinner goes by. Now Earnhardt coming out. He'll beat Ernie Irvin out the 28 car to come around the bike out, or around the wedge out of the left rear. And the 18 car will be coming back in on the front stretch.
Yeah, he came out in 6th on these cars on this side. Bill Weber.
And they're going to lift the hood pins, and they're going to lift the hood and look at Bobby Labonte's underneath the hood. It's not an engine problem. Looks like they're looking for some suspension problems. Now, Bobby Labonte came across the radio very agitated after that last caution came out, so they're going to try and see if he has a suspension problem. Jimmy Makar shouting at him to lower the hood, get the hood pins back in, get Bobby back out. I imagine he'll be back in for another stop. Can't see the right side of the car. You guys have a better view of that.
Well, it could be that they wanted to make a real major chassis adjustment. You can make a bigger chassis adjustment on the front springs than you can on the rear springs. And maybe they raised it to either take a rubber out or to make a big adjustment on one of the front springs. That's just speculation, but if something could have happened.
See Bobby Labonte going by all these cars, catching up with the field.
Once again, this is why we are under caution, the 11th of the evening.
And Dallenbach, this is I don't know, is this the same? Yeah, the wreck is behind. Jerry Nadeau spun because Dallenbach had spun in front of him. I couldn't figure out why Jerry Nadeau spun, because Dallenbach had spun in front of him. Let's see why he spun. There we see Dallenbach. This might be why he spun. Yes, it is.
Oh, maybe that's why they worked on Bobby Labonte's car.
Exactly.
Raised the hood on it because he hit the 50 car of Dallenbach.
Here he comes back in the pits. He probably has a toe-in problem, Bill Weber.
Benny, you're stealing my thunder again. You're all over it. That's exactly what it is. They asked Bobby Labonte how it was when he went back out. He said, Jimmy Makar said, any change? Bobby goes, yeah, it's worse. They do have a toe-out problem. They're trying to work on that now. Labonte telling Makar how the car is handling. The crew under the hood working on it, trying to make the adjustments. Spotter watching for the pace car. Now they put the hood down, put the pins back in, and Bobby will make another lap and then tell his crew how his Interstate Batteries Pontiac is handling. We'll check out Bobby Labonte or update the leaders. 400 laps on the board, 100 to go in Bristol. The excitement's just beginning.
And Rusty Wallace in second.
And Mark was able to get by Jeff Green, the last on the inside. Rusty has not been able to clear the 46 car, and that's let Mark pull away by about a half second. Third and fourth place car, Jeff Burton, the 99 Excite car. The 12, the Mobile 1 car, Jeremy Mayfield.
Jeff Green in number 46.
Oh, we got the 75 car going around and coming across the racetrack, and
It will be out right here.
Everybody else avoids it.
Stay to the bottom in 2.
that's amazing.
Rick Mast in trouble in corner number 2.
And we see the water from the broken radiator on the racetrack, so they'll have to get somebody over there and clean that up.
He, too, is burning off some raw fuel as he tries to get the car restarted.
Mast is in 25th place now, 2 laps down.
See, the left rear tire is flat. I don't know if that's caused the spin or was the result of the spin. That looks like a Bristol car, doesn't it? Man.
We went so long without a caution, and now we've had several here in a row. It's the 12th of the evening.
Tell you bad news. You got what you got. You just go out and work that son of a bitch around and get the boat out of it.
Good run for him.
Well, Bob, it has been a seesaw night for the Lowe's driver, Mike Skinner. He started on the outside of the front row, and the car was so loose when they dropped the green flag, he couldn't drive it. He got a lap down very quickly, went all the way back to 40th position. They came in and kept sawing on it. Larry McReynolds made a major change. 5 rounds of wedge in the car to tighten it up. Skinner now has come back in to loosen it up. He is all the way up to the 6th place. What a run for Mike Skinner. Let's check in with Bill Weber.
Bobby Labonte leads pit road. They continue to work on the toe-out problem. He has 4 straight top 10 finishes. He was racing for the win. Right now they know they're racing for points.
90 laps to go here at Bristol. It's Mark Martin leading Wallace, Burton, Mayfield, and Jarrett. We'll be right back. The Goodies had a Powder 500 from Bristol Motor Speedway right after we finish at 11 o'clock Eastern Time. Sports Center will have an update on the home run watch, an update on the Dodgers-Braves game, and about that Chargers and Colts rookie matchup for the quarterbacks, Leaf and Manning. That's 11 o'clock tonight on Sports Center. Breaking news here from Bill.
Why has Jeff Gordon won 4 straight races? Because his team is very good, and sometimes they're very lucky. This is why his car was awful loose when he called it in. This is the right rear tire. It was going down. You can see right here, this tire has been cut. So they got a good caution, they got in, and they got that off, and that's when they found it out. So they're good, they have great pit stops, they got a good driver, a smart crew chief, and sometimes they're lucky.
He's still back in 7th position, though, and that is exactly where he started this race.
That time Rusty Wallace was able to clear the 46 car of Jeff Green, and he's come up to race with Mark Martin for the victory.
He is working on him. Trying to make the back end of Mark's Ford loose as he goes into the corner. Sticking the nose of his Ford right up under it.
laps to go. Jeff Gordon is back in 7th spot, while Mark Martin and Rusty Wallace battle for the lead. Rusty going for his 7th win.
And you say 7th place, but he definitely does not want to be in the middle of all these lapped cars. There's the 11 car, the lap car in front of him. There's the 40 car, lap car on the inside. And there goes the 92 car by. It's Elliott Sadler. Here comes Earnhardt. This is for position.
Boy, this is a place that you can really get in trouble if you aren't careful. And he is being careful.
Earnhardt just took the position away. You can see how worried Ray Evernham is.
He's shaking his head.
Bobby Labonte just went a lap down. He came out of the pits late, and his car is not up to full strength now. Too bad. He had a good car and a good run going.
Got to be nervous time for Ray Evernham. He's now back to 8th. Ken Schrader and Ricky Rudd are right behind him.
And Terry Labonte was awfully high down in 3 and 4. Looks like he, I don't know if he's back up speed. I guess he is back up speed now. All those cars you see there battling for position.
18 a lap down, as we just said.
I never saw Terry Labonte just a moment ago. Was very, very high, but it looks like he's back up to speed now. I guess he got shuffled down in the corner and up in the loose stuff and just took a lap to get back going again.
He's in 16th position, Terry Labonte is now. As we watch this battle between Earnhardt and Gordon, 7th and 8th.
And Rudd is right there, too. And Gordon is knocking on Earnhardt's door.
And Earnhardt's going and said, okay, go by on the outside. Rudd says, okay, if you're going to leave the outside open like that, I'll go by on the outside. Just, oh, I didn't mean that to happen.
Can he make the pass? Oh, got to run off the corner and got back in front of him.
Jeff Gordon get everything back under control and catch Dale Earnhardt again, and this time maybe he'll take that outside move when it's offered to him.
John Kernan has a report on the backstretch pit.
Ernie Irvin has radioed in and told his crew he can hardly turn the wheels. His seat is very, very hot from the exhaust coming up, heating up the seat. So Ward Burton, who has been knocked out of the race, he is standing by in the pits, ready to go in the car when Ernie makes the decision to come on to pit road. Let's go to the front stretch now and Bill Weber.
And Terry Labonte apparently has a brake problem. That's what Andy Graves, his crew chief, has told me. So it's a brake problem on the Kellogg Chevy for Labonte. That's a big problem at Bristol.
Yeah, especially when you're in heavy traffic. It looks like right there he's out there by himself, but he's not. There's cars right in front of him, and not too far behind him there are cars. Those in front of him are the ones that he's worried about.
Meanwhile, it is battle for 2nd position now, as Jeff Burton is right there on the back bumper of Rusty Wallace.
And Martin has pulled away. We see Martin go by. That's about 3/4 of a second between Martin and Rusty Wallace. Right a moment ago, Rusty Wallace was the aggressor. Right now, he's the defender.
70 laps to go in this race.
And Jeff Gordon is taking that outside route that Dale Earnhardt lost him the last time. He got up there, Earnhardt offered it again, and Jeff Gordon took it. He goes by Earnhardt and moves into the 7th position.
And there goes Jeff Burton into 2nd. And now Ricky Rudd and Dale Earnhardt are battling for position. That is the 8th spot. So is Gordon catching up to the leader, VP?
When we check the AutoZone on-track interval, we'll see. You see that he started at 6.9 seconds behind. He ended at 7.5. But in those 5 laps, he was battling with Earnhardt. So we'll let it go a couple laps. He's got clean racetrack, and we'll check it again.
Four-time winner here at Bristol, Jeff Gordon, but all of his 4 wins have been in the daytime.
Oh, we got a spin. Is that Jeremy Mayfield? Yes, it is. And so far, no one's hit him.
Boy, Dale Jarrett just missed him. Caution waves once again.
All that running into what, 2nd or 3rd, 4th spot?
He's running 4th. He's still on the lead lap. He got it going again.
Now, this is really 65 laps to go. How many of these cars will pit, if any of them?
Yeah, it'll surprise me if they do come in. It's only been... Well, now what's happening here between Darrell Waltrip and Mark Martin?
I guess Mark has slowed down to let Darrell go by, and Darrell wouldn't go by. I guess he didn't feel like he was entitled to go by, is all I can figure out. Anyway, the pace car goes back out. Jerry Nadeau goes back on the racetrack after that collision up in turn 3 a moment ago.
Darrell Waltrip is 4 laps down in 27th position.
Well, let's see here. There's Darrell running up beside of Mark. Ooh, and he hit him.
Yeah. So I guess, oh, that was a conversation. What are you doing, man? Here's the crash. I guess I don't know if the 12 car of Jeremy Mayfield got just a little high, or there was slight contact between he and the 18. Hard to tell.
From Bobby Labonte's on board, we'll see if we can...
Can't tell anything because it's in front of him. You're sitting still in the backstretch, your car's coming by at 130 miles an hour. That's kind of scary.
Jerry Punch.
All right, some minor damage on the front of Jeremy Mayfield's Mobile 1 Taurus. He said he got into the 18 car on the racetrack. That was the contact and the reason for the spin, according to Mayfield on his radio back to crew chief Paul Andrews. Left side tires going on. Left side tires on. Earnhardt is in the backstretch in front of John Kernan.
And we would anticipate a 4-tire change for Dale Earnhardt. The lefts are over the wall already. Crew comes around. They'll take the lug nuts off. No adjustments so far. They figure, hey, we're back a little bit. Might as well put 4 fresh tires on this and see what Earnhardt can do with, about 62 laps remaining. Earnhardt has 4 fresh tires. We'll see if he can move his way toward the front.
Earnhardt leaves the back pits and goes back onto the racetrack. Mark Martin leading here with 438 of the 500 laps completed. We'll be right back with more from Bristol with Mark Martin leading Jeff Burton and Rusty Wallace. We saw that little incident between Mark and Darrell Waltrip. Doc, what was that all about?
Mark Martin or Darrell Waltrip, either one know what happened out there, but Mark Martin was concerned that he might have a fender rubbing on the left front. That's why he had a teammate out there. They called and asked the 99 car of Jeff Burton to go up and take a look at it. Burton moved up the side margin a moment ago during the caution flag and said, Mark, turn your wheels back and forth. He said, I don't see anything rubbing. I believe it's going to be okay. Now, Burton could have said, yeah, I think it's going to rub. You need to pit. Of course, he would have been the leader. His teammates don't do that to teammates.
Battle up front on a half-second interval. And here is the battle for 9th. Jeremy Mayfield passing Kenny Irwin.
He put those 4 tires on after he spun out, so he's going to be in better shape than most of those cars that were in front of him. So he's making a move, Jeremy Mayfield is.
And there's Kevin LePage trying to look on the inside of the 28 car. Here's Earnhardt. Here's Ted Musgrave. All those cars battling for position. Let's see. That's 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. And Musgrave trying to go on the outside of Earnhardt.
Good run for Kevin LePage. Near the top 10.
There's Jeff Green, the money store. He's a lap down and has gotten up in the mix here.
He came in and put on 4 tires that time. The 46 car did, so just got him a little racy there.
See Musgrave going back by the 46 car. You'll see a little contact between the 3 car and the 16. Dr. Earnhardt hit the brakes hardly something drug. And LePage right now is not able to keep up with the 28 car.
Points position staying the same at the moment through the top 10.
Earnhardt trying to look on the inside of LePage.
More contact. And Kevin lost 2 positions. He lost one to Earnhardt and one to Ed Musgrave.
Meanwhile, the 28 car, Kenny Irwin is on the inside of Schrader, takes a spot away. Here comes Earnhardt. That's going by Schrader.
Wow, look at this.
And there's contact between Musgrave and Earnhardt. Now LePage is coming back on the outside. It's hard to keep up with so much action going on around here.
I'm telling you.
They are racing. And, you know, with less than 50 laps to go, they got to go at it.
Here's LePage diving on the inside of Earnhardt.
Made it look easy.
Now here comes Musgrave. He's trying to get on the inside of Earnhardt. Can't quite do it.
Kenny Irwin, who was leading that line of traffic, is back in 9th position. Wow, good run. Here is Martin. And now it's about a 2/3 of a second lead over Jeff Burton. We'll be right back to Bristol. Goody's headache powder 500 from Bristol Motor Speedway. The Penfoil Copter Cam providing this overhead shot of the 140,000 spectators who gathered here tonight to see this race, in which Jeff Gordon could win 5 in a row. It doesn't appear as if he's going to. He is running in 6th position right now, 5 3/4 seconds back, but let's not count him out yet. He can do amazing things in closing laps. Mark Martin is the leader of the race. There is Jeff. Right ahead of him is the 5th place car of Mike Skinner.
He's been gradually closing in on Skinner. Now has caught him. He lost about 10 car lengths behind him, and now he's on the win.
NASCAR hot zone telemetry here on Skinner's car.
His acceleration going straight away to 120 miles per hour or so.
Clear. Right on your back, on your back, on your back.
On your back is right, on your back is right.
Musgrave coming into the pits. An unscheduled pit stop for him.
He drops out of the top 15.
You see Skinner going in the corner. You know, Jeff Gordon right now, I mean, he realizes, they all realize that he does not have the car tonight that these other guys do. He's trying to get all the positions he can. He sees he's got a hit pin out.
Right on you, right on you. Watch the 9 car up high. Keep her down. Don't let him in there. Corner, inside corner.
Oh, and
he's there. Still there. Still there. Still there. 40's there.
They got him.
Good job. You got to go. Attaboy.
Jeff up into 5th.
Spin over there.
On the back.
Irwin has spun, but no caution. He gets going again.
No caution as Irwin drives away. He was in the top 10, and here is Mark Martin. It's around Darrell Waltrip with ease, and now Kenny Irwin is about to go lap down.
the problem is, look, the 99 car is right. I guess when the 28 car spun, that Mark backed off because of that, because the spotter probably told him caution was out. And check this out, the 99 car is closed up to right on his rear bumper, and now Irwin wants to try to stay in the lead lap, so this is double problems for Mark Martin.
Irwin is 15th.
There's Jimmy Finney. Mark Martin's crew chief. And of course, he's racing with his teammate.
Now Kenny Irwin does go a lap down the Texaco car.
In 15th spot, Bill Weber has a report.
Well, as they look on from Jeff Burton's pits, this may be his best run of the evening. His car is good on short runs, okay on medium runs, but normally tonight, not very good on long runs. After about 50 laps, he starts getting very loose. Right now, he's able to hang on. The question is, can he catch Mark?
That is the question we will answer in 24 laps.
Doesn't look like it.
Now Mark pulls away now that he got past Kenny Irwin. You can see the distance there as he puts a lap on the Another lap on the two Nemechek cars. And a couple of drivers that are in the hospital but apparently doing okay. Brett Bodine and Ernie Irwin.
Kenny Wallace is subbing for Brett and Ward Burton in for Ernie. Those guys are receiving oxygen in the care center, but both appear to be okay other than that.
Ever see Ted Musgrave, the 23 car? Ned mentioned just a moment ago he was on pit road making an unscheduled pit stop. I'm told the right front tire was flat, Ned, on the Winston Ford.
And that's too bad. He's 2 laps down. It's hard to make a pit stop here and not lose a couple of laps at Bristol.
Right up on you, on you, on you. Yo, looking.
Yeah, you need to let him go, Mike, because he's faster than 13 tires. He's a couple laps
right
down.
on your back, right on your back, right on your back.
Jeremy Mayfield
Inside, clear.
This is not for position.
Coming again, here he comes. Clear down behind him, go.
Now go, because the next car will be for position. That's 12
car, Jeremy Mayfield. Stay with him, clear high. Driving your hands off, but we gotta go here, you got it. Low cars here, 91 to 50. Stay with him right there. Go, go, go. Clear.
Well, that's wise to move over, let all those cars go by. Oh, there's Jerry Mason up in the high stuff, got it in the outside retaining wall.
He's coming on around, so I don't know if he needs to make a pit stop or not, but he's staying up there as cars continue to go by him. There's Kyle Petty going by. Kyle still having a good run, still on the lead lap in 12th place.
Nadu, on the other hand, is 57 laps down in 30 seconds.
14 cars on the lead lap now.
Jerry Labonte is one of them. We saw him. We talked about him having some brake problems. He was able to been able to stay on the lead lap. There comes the leader. Won by Bill Elliott. Puts Elliott now 2 laps down.
19th position. There it is.
31 and 12. Got a great battle down the backstretch. Battle for the 6th position. Jeremy has pressure tires, and Mike.
Go, man. About 2 back. Keep digging, partner. Come on.
And here's Earnhardt back there as well.
Boy, Dale has looked like the Earnhardt of old.
3 cars coming in behind you. 2 back.
Earnhardt up to 7th.
Mike, big time.
14 laps to go, they're telling him. Hang tough, run as hard as you can.
Come on, baby. 34 laps tonight. Here's 10th and 11th now, the 16th of LePage and Bobby Hamilton. And now Dale
all clear.
Still trying to get that 6th spot away.
Run your way. I'll tell you what's up. Just keep digging. Right on you. Looking high, clear.
Well, he drove that car down in there, didn't he? Jeremy Mayfield, all of a sudden, when Earnhardt went by, he's thinking the pressure tires that he'd be able to
he's at the bottom.
Race with these guys, but he's falling back now. So evidently a problem on the Mobile 1 Ford.
There you go.
Jeremy
Come on,
Mayfield
baby. Come on.
in 8th position.
Go get him. Left to go. Left to go.
Meanwhile, the 2 and the 88 are running 3rd and 4th. Here they are, passing Kenny Irwin. John has an update on Jeremy, who's dropped back to 8th.
I just talked to his crew chief, Paul Andrews. He said the car is just extremely tight right now. He goes into the turn, and it doesn't want to turn. It wants to push up toward the wall. But what a battle there is in front of him between the teammates Mike Skinner and Dale Earnhardt.
Clear, clear.
Of course, these teammates traded trophies, too, a few weeks ago. Kevin Hamlin now on the...
On your back, touch it, rub it inside, clear behind him. That son of a bitch!
Yeah, something like that. Teammate or not.
Well, there are less than 8 laps to go in this race now as we're winding down. Earnhardt is in 6th spot. Here is Mark Martin, who has a 1 3/4 second lead on Jeff Burton.
And you know that Mark Martin would certainly have loved to have had this victory last Sunday in Michigan.
You know, I think that same thing, then it's coming a week late, but he'll cherish the victory anyway.
Gordon finished second to Jeff Gordon for several races here, and Mark Martin finishing second to Jeff Gordon on several occasions and losing points tonight. If things continue to go well, he'll be gaining some points on Jeff.
Not many, but a few.
Right.
It's been a while since anyone gained any points on Jeff Gordon.
Let's see. Jeff Gordon currently running in 5th position, and no other cars around him.
And Mark Martin will pick up the 5 bonus points for leading the most laps.
Really?
Yep. 185 and counting.
Jeff Gordon has not led.
Right. That's 7 leaders. 3 laps to go for Mark Martin. There's second place Jeff Burton. After he lost at Michigan last week, but he wanted to go home, regroup, think about it, come back to Bristol and kick butt, and he's doing it.
I think he's pretty well. I would think we'll probably see a more emotional Mark Martin in victory lane than we've seen.
Right.
And the other 4 victories this year.
He has won at Vegas, Texas, California, and Michigan. All of those, of course, those are super speedways. He's about to chalk up a short track victory. Mark Martin wins the Goody's Headache Powder 500 at Bristol Motor Speedway. His 5th win of 1998, his 27th career win, and 6th on a short track. Jeff Gordon has a moral victory by finishing in 5th position tonight, but he does not win the 5th race in a row. So the string continues. No driver in the modern era has won 5 in a row. Mark Martin wins here tonight. Back in a moment. He has won the Goody's Headache Powder 500. Without question, a big fan favorite. Down to the McDonald's Winner's Circle interview and Dr. Jerry Punch.
Absolutely a fan favorite. He climbs out of the car. Now we'll climb down on the side of the Valvoline Ford. Mark, you stood up there, 140,000 people cheering. Before we talk about the race tonight, I want to talk about the week. A week ago, you drove your heart out. You wanted it in the worst way. You said you were going to go home and come back and kick tail. You did tonight.
Yeah, we did. I'm pretty out of breath here. I want to thank the race fans. Their sympathy and support, love, and love for the sport and love for our family has meant everything. I cried last week because I didn't get to dedicate a win to my dad and Shelly and Sarah. This one's for them, and he'd have been proud of this one tonight. It's an awful good run, and I want to thank this race team, Valvoline, Cummins, Bugle, Bosch, Ford Taurus, and Goodyear for their support. And I don't know if we're in the running for this championship or not, but I tell you what, we got the best race team on the circuit, whether we win it or not, and I'm proud. I'm proud to be with them.
All right. Mark Martin, emotional victory lane, Bob. And, of course, you know how much he wanted it last week, and the crew said there were tears all week long. He wanted to be back in victory lane, and indeed he is tonight.
Nothing else needs be said. Mark Martin wins tonight here at Bristol in a very hard-fought race. Back in a moment. Laps led, the 5 extra bonus points. He led 189 of the 500 laps. 13 cars were on the lead lap at its conclusion. There were 7 different leaders and 14 lead changes. We had 13 caution periods for 86 laps. 8 cars were out of the race when the 500 laps were complete, and the average speed was just under 87 miles an hour. We'll be back in just a moment to look at, among other things, points, but at the top of the hour, you'll get caught up in all the baseball and pro football news on SportsCenter. That's at 11 o'clock Eastern Time. Play going on here, saluting the winner of tonight's race, Mark Martin. Here are the points, And Mark gained 30 on Jeff, and Jarrett gained 10, and Rusty Wallace gained 15. So the points battle is tightening up. However, everybody in the top 10 stayed the same as far as positions are concerned.
Tell you what, if Mark Hart's exhausted, they're all tired, Ned.
Well, they drove their hearts out, and it's on a warm night here at Bristol. It's a great show and a lot of action.
And we will come back to Bristol Motor Speedway as this beautiful fireworks display continues. We'll come back with our final thoughts in just a moment. Mark Martin wins here at Bristol, Tennessee. Are still going off here at Bristol. Mark Martin wins his 5th race of 1998 here tonight. Well, the next fireworks as far as a Winston Cup race here on ESPN, that'll be at Darlington, the Pepsi Southern 500. Our coverage begins with mud pole qualifying on Friday at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. That's Friday, September 4th. Then at 4 o'clock on Saturday the 5th, the Duraloop 200 for the NASCAR Busch Series. Happy hour at 9 o'clock on Saturday, September the 5th. And then on Sunday the 6th, RPM today at noon Eastern Time. NASCAR today at 12:30. The Pepsi Southern 500 will be at 1 o'clock Eastern Time here on ESPN, and that is a No Bull 5 race.
Yes, Jeff Gordon and 4 other drivers a chance to pick up $1 million bonus if they can win the race in Darlington.
Coming up next on SportsCenter, a complete wrap-up on the home run watch. The Dodgers against the Braves, and the Chargers and the Colts going at it. A matchup of the rookie quarterbacks. Our congratulations tonight to Mark Martin, who won here at Bristol Motor Speedway, beating Jeff Burton by 2.19 seconds. It is Rusty Wallace finishing 3rd, Dale Jarrett 4th, and Jeff Gordon finishing in the 5th position. So we'll see you at Darlington in a couple of weeks. For John Kernan, Jerry Punch, Bill Weber, Ned Jarrett, and Benny Parsons, I'm Bob Jenkins. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.